On day 1, I spawned in as the Hulk. Oh yeah, look at me, I'm incredibly tiny. I was small, but I could still punch pretty hard and jump pretty high. Before I could spend too much time admiring my abilities though, I was attacked by a bunch of baboons. Get away from me, you mad monkeys! I thought about running away, but wait, I was the Hulk. I started swinging my fists. In no time, I had pounded the baboons into the ground. Bet you thought this little green guy was an easy dinner. I decided to go looking for my friends. As I was exploring, I came across a village. While walking the streets, I noticed that it was empty and several of the buildings had been damaged. Wow, I wonder what happened here. I kept exploring but couldn't find any survivors, so I found myself a good house and went to sleep for the night. On day 2, I left the village and entered a nearby forest. Time to start punching trees. I punched down trees until my fists were starting to hurt, then set up a crafting table to make myself some wooden tools. I made all the tools I was going to need, then headed over to a nearby cave. Wood can only get me so far. Better get some stone. In the cave, I managed to find some coal, along with plenty of stone. As I was mining though, I suddenly heard a noise behind me. Ah! The little boy ran off into the cave. He had totally caught me off guard. Hang on a second, come back here. I ran off in the direction he had gone and soon caught up with him. That's when I saw a skeleton was trying to attack him. Hang tight. With my Hulk strength, I managed to take him out. Then I turned to the little boy.
Please don't eat me.
Eat you? Why would I eat you?
So, you're not gonna eat me?
No, of course not. I don't want to hurt anyone. What are you doing down here in this cave?
A big monster came to our village and destroyed it. My mom told me to hide in this cave. The monster reminded me of you, but I guess you're not as big as he was.
Like me? Huh, that's confusing.
But do you think it's safe to go back to the village?
I didn't want to break it to this kid that the village had been completely wiped out, so I didn't. It's still pretty scary out there, so our best bet is just to stay here in the cave. We can go look for your family tomorrow. On day 3, the boy, whose name was Nash, and I headed back to the village. This was going to be awkward. Nash showed me to his house, but it was completely destroyed. He was feeling really sad when suddenly we heard a cry from the inside. Someone is in here! I ran over to a pile of rubble, and underneath I could see a pair of eyes.
It's Mila! That's my big sister!
I quickly cleared out all of the blocks, letting the little girl out of the rubble. Are you okay? What happened here?
I think I'm okay. It was a green monster that attacked us. He was big and scary. Kind of like you, but he didn't have friendly eyes. He ran around our town, destroying everyone and everything in front of him. Our house collapsed, so I don't know if my parents escaped or not.
I'm sorry to hear it. How long has it been?
I don't know. Days have gone by since I've been under here.
Just then, we heard a howl and a group of feral wolves appeared. They must have been scavenging in the abandoned village. Hang on, kids, I'll take care of this. I sprang into action, hitting the wolves. They were vicious as they snapped with their fangs, but I wasn't going to let them hurt these poor kids. Soon enough, I had taken several of them out. It wasn't enough though, as I could hear some more wolves off in the distance. Come on, guys, I don't think I can fight all of them off. Let's get out of here. We ran from the village until we were a safe distance away. It was time to start building us a shelter. First off, I put together a full set of stone tools so I'd have the equipment needed to get any job done. Then I got to work building a simple house for us to stay in. It wasn't anything fancy, as we needed something quick, but at least for now, it was a place to call home. Once the house was finished, I then made several torches and put them outside to stop mobs from spawning. We had survived another day, but who knew what surprises were coming next? On days 4 to 5, I left the kids at the house and went to go look for some food. We weren't going to last out here if we didn't have something to eat. Oh, look, pigs! I had spotted some pigs, so I rushed over and attacked them. I quickly knocked them all out and collected all of their meat. Just then, Black Panther came out of the trees. T'Challa, what are you doing out here?
There is a beast that has been destroying the villages in the area. They call him Abomination. I have tried to face him myself, but he was too powerful.
Oh man, if you can't beat him, how can I? I'm so small.
You know, there is a cave near here that contains something I think might help you.
He explained where I needed to go, and so I set off to find what he was talking about. After a bit, I soon found the cave he was describing. As I entered in, I saw what he was talking about. It was gamma radiation. This is what made the Hulk in the first place. I stepped up to it and immediately started to absorb the radiation. I could feel it entering my bloodstream when suddenly I grew bigger and stronger than before. Awesome! I feel like I could beat anything right now. Speaking of which, there was a roar as a ZOGLIN had just shown up. He must have been absorbing the radiation too. Let's try these new powers out. But much to my disappointment, he was really strong. I was losing the fight. I was taking too much damage and had no choice but to hurry and run away. On day 6 to 8, I had arrived back at the house. That's when I realized I had eaten all the meat I was supposed to bring home. Oh man, the kids are probably hungry. I turned around and headed back out. Luckily, it didn't take too long, and I quickly found some chickens. This will make a great meal for the kids. I then headed into a nearby mine to try and find some better materials. As I went deeper into the mine, I soon came across some iron. Yes, now I can finally stop using these stone tools. With my pockets full of iron, I headed back to the house for good this time. As I entered the house, the kids were really impressed with how much bigger I had gotten. Unfortunately, they were less impressed with eating raw meat. That's a good point. Let me fix that. I got right to work adding on a kitchen Abomination to the house. I'm not sure why I thought feeding them raw meat would be a good idea. I guess I'm just used to being able to eat whatever I want. With the kitchen complete, I got the chicken all cooked up. Now the kids would be able to have a decent meal. With the food all sorted out, I then started smelting down the iron ore. Using my new iron bars, I made myself a brand spanking new set of iron tools, which would be way better than my stone ones. Then I got to it, making some iron armor. I wasn't able to make a full set. I wasn't sure it would be strong enough to take on Abomination, but it would be better than nothing. That's when I realized that none of us had a place to sleep. I then made the kids their own bedrooms, complete with beds in their favorite colors. On days 9 to 10, I woke up to a knock on the door. It was Black Panther.
How are you feeling about your powers now? Abomination is nearby. Perhaps together we can defeat it.
Yeah, together I'm sure we'll have a chance. I followed Black Panther out and across the land. We soon arrived at a seaside village. I could see Abomination rampaging through the town, destroying people and buildings alike. Oh man, he's bigger than I thought he would be. This isn't going to be an easy fight. We couldn't let him to continue to hurt these innocent people though, so I charged down into the village, straight at Abomination. Leave these people alone. Abomination turned and hit me hard. Ouch! I don't care how much you hurt me. I'll never stop fighting you.
Get out of here, you lab experiment. I don't have time for pests like you.
I kept fighting, but it was clear I didn't have a chance. Just as Abomination was ready to finish me off, Black Panther hopped into the fight. He was able to get a few hits in, but it wasn't enough to stop Abomination. He was just too strong. The two of us ran off as Abomination continued his rampage through the village. We had both nearly been defeated, and T'Challa was nearly on the verge of death. Luckily, we made it out of there alive. On days 11 to 12, we arrived back at my base. T'Challa, let me make a room for you to heal up. I quickly got to work, making him a fresh new room so he could relax and get his health back up. I soon finished the build, and T'Challa was able to move in. The kids had run in to see him, and were very excited. Apparently, they thought he was their new kitty. T'Challa was not amused. Hang out here, guys. I'll see about getting us some food. I started to leave the house, eating our last bit of meat. In the distance, I could hear some spiders. I better take those out before they get too close to the base. I soon came upon the spiders and managed to fight them off without too much trouble. As I picked up the string they dropped, it gave me an idea. If I had some leads, I could get some pigs and raise them at the house. Luckily, I soon came across some slime. I fought the slime, destroying all of its parts. I picked up the slime balls they dropped and then used the ingredients to craft some leads. Time to go pig wrestling. I went searching through the woods and eventually found the pigs I was looking for. Using the newly created leads, I led them back to the base. I then led them into a pen that I had built earlier. Finally, now there will be enough meat for everyone. I wanted to be sure we had some variety though, so I broke some grass to get seeds. I'd also gathered some water in a bucket, so I was all ready to build a farm. I tilled the ground and placed the water, which then let me plant the seeds I had collected. This base is really starting to come along. The only thing I was missing at this point was a statue to really put my mark on the place. Since I was so busy with food, I thought I would make it my favorite food. You'll have to let me know if you can guess what it is. Once I had finished the first part, it had gotten pretty late, and I could see some creepers had started spawning near the base. I better take care of that before they blow everyone to bits. I headed down to the base and knocked out all the creepers. Fighting them was always scary business, but I managed to knock them all out without too much trouble. On days 13 to 15, I decided that I needed to focus on getting more powerful, but I wasn't sure where to start. Just then, there was a knock on the door. Tony, what are you doing here?
I was flying over and saw the statue you were building. Who else would build that other than you? Figured I'd stop in and say hello.
Boy, Tony, you really dropped in at the right time. This abomination has been rampaging through the towns here, and I'm not strong enough to stop him.
Oh, well, I know what you mean. I've had a few scrapes of my own I wasn't sure I was going to get out of. What have you got so far?
Well, I came across some gamma radiation that powered me up, but that's about it.
Well, what are you wasting your time with me for? That's your answer right there. Surely there's more radiation points out there.
You think so? But how could we find them?
Bring me some dirt from the cave. With that, I can build you a detector that will lead you to new deposits. Piece of cake.
I agreed to the plan, but there was just one problem. That ZOGLIN would still be there. I decided to head back to the caves in order to get some more iron. With the new iron I collected, I brought it back up and smelted it down. Using the iron ingots, I completed the rest of my armor. Alright, let's give this thing a go. I soon reached the cave from before. I think my best bet is going to be trying to sneak. I tiptoed into the cave and saw the perfect block for a dirt sample. I quickly mined it up without any movement by the ZOGLIN. Looks like I might just make it out of here alive. Just then, I noticed there were some diamonds nearby. It was too good to pass up. I headed over to the diamond and mined it out, but unfortunately, it woke up the ZOGLIN. Oh boy, here we go. The ZOGLIN let out a roar and attacked. I was the same level of strength as last time, but I didn't have this much armor back then. The ZOGLIN was still incredibly powerful, and it was a tough fight. And thanks to my new gear, I was able to take him out and win. On days 16 to 19, I managed to make it back to the base with a sample. Tony needed a lab to work out of, and had gotten to work putting it all together. There was some pretty cool stuff going on in there, and after a while, it was all done. Wow, this lab is looking awesome. With the lab complete, Tony could start working on that radiation detector. I could tell he was going to be here for a while though, so I got to work building him a house of his own. It probably wasn't the mansion he was used to, but he would just have to get used to it. As I was finishing the house, Tony came running over to me. He had finished the radiation detector. Oh, Tony, this is gonna help so much. Thank you. It was time to get out there and become even more powerful. On days 20 to 22, I had the detector in my hand and started running off through the woods. As I ran, I almost ran straight into a woodland mansion. The gamma must be underneath this mansion. I'll have to keep my guard up though. This place is dangerous. I walked into the mansion and took a look around. As I walked down the hallways, I was immediately attacked by illagers. Don't mind me, it's just a casual breaking and entering. The illagers started firing off their arrows, and I ran around giving them the old one too. It was tough, but luckily my iron armor was doing enough to protect me. I kept pushing my way through, fighting the illagers off as I went. Eventually, I saw a chest room and started taking a look inside. Oh wow, these materials will be perfect for my statue. What luck! I checked more chests and found even more materials in the chests. As I passed around the room, I saw something floating on a pedestal. Power gloves. I'll bet I can punch super hard now. I kept following the tracker and came across some more illagers. Using my new power glove, I was able to knock them out much faster than before. Boy, am I glad I found this thing. As I continued down the hallway, I soon saw a very strange looking set of stairs. This must be the place. As I reached the bottom, I saw a massive warped mosquito. Hi, wanna move? Suddenly, the mosquito took flight and charged. This dude had clearly been hitting the gym, and his punches were powerful. I had to do a lot of running and hiding to try and stay in the fight. Oh, mosquitoes were already bad enough. Why is this one so much worse? In addition to his punches, he also shot a gross looking liquid at me. I had to end this, and fast. Using the plants as cover, I managed to jump out and get hits in. It took a lot of effort, but eventually, I was able to take him out. Now that is how you squish a bug. With the mosquito gone, I headed into the doorway and could see the gamma inside. I stood in place as I absorbed its energy. Suddenly, I got a little bigger and gained more hearts. Yes, this will never get old. As I was getting ready to leave the mansion, I caught the scent of a nearby farm, but it was inside. I went down the hallway and saw a room full of carrots. Well, the illagers aren't going to be needing this anymore. I gathered up as many carrots as I could. Now we'd have a more reliable food source. Time to get back to the base. On days 23 to 26, I got right to work planting all the crops I had gotten from the illagers. As I was finishing, I heard Black Panther calling to me.
Well, we don't have more radiation for you. Perhaps we can train you to get you stronger.
Well, I'm sure every little bit will help. I'm in. I headed out behind the house and got to work building a new training course according to T'Challa's instructions. It was looking like it would be a fun course, but certainly challenging. Once the course was complete, T'Challa ran through it to show me how it's done. He made it look really easy. Alright, I'll give it a go. I did my best to run through, but definitely made some mistakes. This was going to take some practice to get better. After giving it a few tries, T'Challa suggested that we try fighting. I hope you've got your armor on tight. I'm gonna smash you.
Good luck.
We faced off and started to fight. I was really strong, but I think that was my mistake. The Black Panther was an experienced fighter and was able to get more hits in. In the end, he was able to defeat me. Aw man, looks like I've got a lot of work to do.
Do not worry. Even the smallest seeds can become a mighty tree. You will get there.
On days 27 to 31, I was feeling especially motivated to get stronger. I decided to start looking for some more radiation stations. Okay, let's see where this thing leads me this time. I followed the radiation detector across the land and eventually reached a snowy tundra. It looks like it's pointing me to this cave over here. I didn't see any green glowing, but maybe it was just deep within. I headed deeper into the cave. Suddenly, I was attacked by a bunch of diamond zombies. Leave me alone! I was able to beat them back, but they were much tougher than I thought. I needed that radiation boost more than I realized. I kept going and ran into a whole group of diamond skeletons too. Luckily, some of them shot each other, so they ended up fighting amongst themselves while I took them out. Guess that's what happens when you don't have a brain. The good news was that I was able to spot some diamonds, which I happily mined out. Well, this doesn't make me stronger physically, but it will definitely give me a leg up in a fight. With all the diamonds mined, I headed back up out of the cave. Before I could get too far though, I heard a noise behind me. It was a Yeti. Uh-oh, these guys are strong. The Yeti and I started to fight. I was right, his blows were landing some hard hits. I wasn't sure I could take him, but I had to be strong. I couldn't leave those kids behind. I rose up and started landing blows. I could tell I was going to win. I only needed to land one more hit when suddenly the Yeti let out an ice attack, freezing me in place. He was hurt and ran away to go heal. This is not good. On days 32 to 35, I was still frozen. Luckily, the ice was starting to melt, and I was able to break free. Well, it's a good thing that Yeti left. Now, where was I? I followed my radiation detector, which soon led me to another cave. But look who it was. That Yeti. I know I can beat him, but he's probably just going to freeze me again. But I need that power. I moved closer to him, but before I could start to fight, he spoke.
Wait, don't hurt me. I thought you were the Abomination. I can see that you're different, though.
I try to be. What do you know about him?
Not much, other than he destroyed my village. Everyone I know was lost in the battle, and I'm the only one of my kind left.
What a monster. Why do you think he attacked your village?
Well, my village was near a gamma radiation source like the one in this cave. My best guess is that he was trying to get to it.
Oh no, it must power him up too. I've got to get to the radiation before he does. He has to be stopped.
I've been watching this cave to try and stop him in case he shows up, but I trust you to stop him. I'll let you in, but be warned, there's a monster even more powerful inside.
I'll take my chances. I headed into the cave. Soon, I saw what the Yeti had been talking about. Inside, there was a ghost mage. Uh-oh, here we go. The ghost mage charged at me. He wasn't going to make this easy. He looked like he had been waiting here a little too long. I'd be upset too if I didn't have any legs, but hey, at least he could levitate. Get out of my way! I swung as hard as I could, and at long last, the ghost mage was defeated. Now I could finally access the radiation. I stepped up to it and could feel the power enter into me. Soon I was even stronger than before. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. As I left the cave, I invited the Yeti to come and stay with us. Since his village was destroyed and he no longer had a reason to guard the cave, he happily agreed. On days 36 to 39, I got right to work building the Yeti his own room. Turned out he used to live in a world full of monsters where he would help in their mailroom. He said he got banished to our world. It was all politics. Poor guy. With the Yeti's room complete, I decided to give the base some more upgrades to make it a little safer. We needed to beef up our defenses, just in case Abomination ever found us. Once the defenses were all completed, I was starting to get hungry. That's when I headed over to continue work on my statue. By this point, you've probably got a good idea of what my favorite food is. Leave your guesses in the comments. After a bit, I had finished the second part. That's when Black Panther came running up to me. He said he was impressed by how much bigger I had gotten. He said there was still a lot more work I had to do though, and invited me to do the obstacle course again. I would, but I'm just not very good at it. It's hard to do an obstacle course when there are so many other things I'm trying to get done.
I understand, but it will help you. If you can complete the course, I have an item I believe will help.
Oh, I like the sound of that. I'll have to keep training then. I ran over to the obstacle course and got to work. It was still hard, but I felt like I was doing even better than before. Black Panther encouraged me, even when I fell off and had to try again. I wasn't able to beat it today, but soon enough, I would have to win that prize. On days 40 to 43, I tried to use my radiation detector to find more gamma, but it wasn't working. Oh man, what's up with this thing? I headed over to Tony and asked him what was going on with it. He explained that I must have found all the gamma radiation within range of the detector. So how can we expand the range? Tony told me to wait there and headed into his plane. When he returned, he tossed out some eyes of ender and told me I needed to get some ender pearls. Oh boy, this isn't gonna be easy. I thanked him for his help and started searching for the end portal. My journey led me across the land. At one point, I even came across some diamonds, which I was able to use to finish up an entire set of diamond armor. I'm going to need this in the end for sure. It took a lot of searching, but eventually I made it into the stronghold and soon found myself outside the end portal. I inserted the eyes of ender. Well, here goes nothing. I jumped in. On days 44 to 49, I appeared in the end. Let's get those ender pearls. There were several endermen nearby, and I got right to work chopping them down. These guys were really scary when you looked them in the eyes, but you just had to be brave. I ended up getting into more than I asked for though, and was soon surrounded by them. How was I going to get out of this one? Suddenly, there was a sound above me, and the Scarlet Witch came flying in to help. Together, we were able to take out the rest of the endermen. Oh, you showed up just in time. I thought I was a goner.
Always happy to help a friend.
Do you know what's going on with the endermen though? I noticed that not a single one of them dropped any ender pearls.
I have noticed this as well, yes. There is something going on, but I don't know what it is yet.
Well, let's stick together and maybe we can figure this out. She agreed and we continued on through the end. Nearby there was an end city, so we went to check it out. As we got closer, we saw something terrifying. Look at that enderman, he's bigger than all of the others. We charged in and started to fight. This enderman was unlike anything I had ever seen before. He had 4 arms and would clap them together, trying to smash me in them. He would also pick up and throw blocks at me, as well as teleport around. This battle was really tough. With the Scarlet Witch's help though, we finally managed to take him out. He let out a shriek and exploded in a display of enderman goop. It was pretty intense. And look, an ender pearl. The giant enderman had left a single pearl behind. The Scarlet Witch told me I should take it, as she had more research she wanted to do in the end. She opened up a portal for me to return to the overworld, so I stepped in to head home. On days 50 to 53, I arrived back at my base. Safely back home, I went over to Tony to give him the ender pearl I had collected. He thanked me and got right to work, improving the gamma radiation detector. Suddenly, there was a sound outside. What was that? As I got closer to the sound of the noise, I saw that some endermen were there. Scarlet Witch must have left the portal open too long. I hurried to defend the base from the endermen, knocking them out one at a time. Once they were defeated, Scarlet Witch came through the portal.
Oh, I am sorry about that. I have been in the end for so long, I forgot to close my portal.
That's okay. Good luck with your research. She thanked me and headed back into the end. On days 54 to 57, I decided to go find Black Panther to do some training. What I found instead, though, was a note. Meet me in the woods north. Huh, I wonder what he's up to this time. I went north and soon found Black Panther, as well as a giant circle of stones. What's this all about?
Pay attention. This circle will summon a mystical monster. Defeat it, and you will receive a special item.
I stepped into the ring, and soon a magma monster appeared. He didn't seem like he was too tough, and that's because he wasn't. I jumped around and managed to take him out pretty easily. Is that all you wanted me to do? That was easy.
Turn around.
I turned around and saw a much bigger magma monster. Uh-oh. This guy was way stronger than the other one, and I was taking a beating. Why didn't T'Challa just have me fight this guy the first time? I felt like my training was paying off though, and soon I was winning. I got into position and managed to land the final blow, taking him out completely. Got him. Alright, now where's that special reward? Or is there another monster behind me? Black Panther chuckled, and suddenly a ring of fire appeared in the arena. I stepped into it and picked up an enchanted pair of diamond boots. Wow, these have feather falling 4 on them. Now I can survive huge falls. I thanked T'Challa for his help, then left to go back to the base. On days 58 to 62, I was arriving back at the base when I saw someone standing on top of it. Who is that? As I got closer, I could see it was the Red Hulk. Hey, what do you think you're doing here?
The Abomination knows what you're doing. There's only enough room for one big green guy in this world, and that's not you.
We'll see about that. We charged into the base, but were suddenly attacked by a group of red crabs. What the? Where did all of these guys come from? The crabs weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. We were so distracted by the crabs, we didn't notice Red Hulk had snuck around the walls and into Tony's lab. We soon defeated all of the crabs, but there was one question on our minds. Where did Red Hulk go? We ran around the base and soon saw the house he had run into. He had managed to break into the lab. Tony quickly ran around to check if anything was stolen.
Bad news, big guy. The gamma radiation detector is gone.
Oh no, now Abomination will be able to find all the sources before me. There's no way I'll be able to beat him without it. Suddenly, I realized something else was missing too. The kids! We ran around the base and eventually saw them hiding under a desk. They were scared, but unharmed. It's okay, guys. It's safe now. Don't worry. I promise I will always protect you no matter what.
Now that everyone is safe, follow me. I can use my tracking abilities to find where the Red Hulk ran to.
Let's go! On days 63 to 66, Black Panther and I were tracking Red Hulk's path. Soon, I could see a large tower in the distance. That must be it. Hang back and I'll go take care of this. I made my way over to the tower and entered in. I was immediately attacked by a bunch of red crabs. Get your pincy pincers away from me! I managed to clear out all of the crabs on the ground floor and started running up the stairs. What a weird place to call home. As I reached the top, I saw Red Hulk was waiting for me.
I guess I should have gotten rid of that little cat man. But no matter, you'll never defeat me.
Bring it on! Red Hulk and I charged at each other, exchanging blows. It was a different fight entirely to be punching someone who was just as strong as me. You should be helping us. You are a Hulk after all.
Big deal. I'm here for the strongest, and that's never going to be you.
His hits were getting harder, and I was almost out of health. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and Scarlet Witch appeared.
Someone needs to be taught a lesson.
Scarlet Witch started firing energy at Red Hulk, which had totally caught him off guard. We were winning! We may have been too confident though, because even though Scarlet Witch could fly, she got a little too close.
Gotcha!
Red Hulk landed a hit, knocking her out of the sky, down toward the ground. No, you'll pay for that! My blood began to boil, and I suddenly grew in size, becoming even stronger than before. I charged at the Red Hulk, smacking him again and again. He tried to fight back, but it was no use. Soon, he was defeated. I can't believe Scarlet Witch had to die. I'll never forget her. On the ground was the gamma radiation detector, which I happily picked up. I ran back down and out of the tower. Waiting on the other side was Black Panther and Scarlet Witch. What? I thought you were gone.
What do you mean? I thought you knew I could fly. You knocked me down, but I caught myself. It seemed like you had it from there.
Right, that makes sense. Well, I got stronger. Let's go. On day 67 to 70, we returned back to my base and got right to work building a place for the Scarlet Witch to stay. I was so happy to find out she survived the fight. That was way too close for comfort. I soon finished her place. Then I went on to build something for the kids. I couldn't believe Red Hulk was able to get into our base so easily. No wonder the kids were scared. If it had been the Abomination, things could have gotten much worse. Soon, I finished building them their very own playroom. My armor had taken a beating in the fights, so I went over to Tony to give him supplies to fix it up. He was happy to help, so I set off to work on the statue. I then headed outside to finish up the next part of the statue. I'm sure you've guessed what it is by now, a hamburger. It's definitely one of my favorite foods. What's yours? Soon, the next part of my burger was complete. On days 71 to 74, I was having a horrible dream. I'd finally found Abomination, but something was wrong. He kept getting bigger and bigger, while I kept getting smaller and smaller. I wasn't going to be able to beat him. I woke up in a cold sweat. Oh, what's going on, kids?
Sorry to wake you up, but we wanted to tell you thank you. Yeah, even though the base was attacked, we've never felt safer. We know you'll always do what you can to protect us.
I assured them that would always be true. I believed myself when I said it, but I couldn't help but feel nervous about the fight ahead. On day 75 to 78, I felt more motivated than ever to get stronger in order to protect my friends. Alright, let's see where a boosted detector takes me this time. I followed the arrow and soon found myself back in the forest where I had been training with Black Panther. It led me to the summoning circle, which suddenly transported me to the Nether. Whoa, whoa! As I arrived, I saw tons of Mega Monsters who attacked. Jeez, all my friends really need to work on their portal management skills. These guys could have come through. I kept fighting fighting and was able to get through the magma monsters. That's when I noticed there was some ancient debris nearby. Oh, excellent. I'll be able to upgrade my armor and tools to netherite with this. On days 79 to 84, I was still following my detector through the nether. I could tell I was close. But before I could go much farther, Abomination came out of nowhere.
Well, thanks for being my guide. Looks like this is my stop.
Your guide? What?
Huh, all that muscle and so dumb. Didn't even realize I was following you this whole time. With this radiation, I'll finally be at my full form.
No! I charged at him, but even without his final form, he knocked me out of the way, no problem. I was in big trouble. He took off and went into the volcano. All I could do was watch as the volcano started to erupt. What did he do? Suddenly, a giant abomination came leaping from the volcano and landing right in front of me.
Now I am truly powered up. Your little adventure ends here.
I knew I didn't stand a chance in this fight, so all I could do is run. I turned as Abomination started chasing me through the nether. I had no idea if I was going to get away.
Come back here, weakling. I'm going to crush you.
I ran and ran, but suddenly I came to a giant cliff.
Time to say goodbye.
Goodbye. I jumped. On days 85 to 89, I was still falling. After what felt like forever, I landed in a pool of water. In a jungle. How in the world did I get here? Suddenly, a crocodile came out of nowhere and attacked. It was just a few punches, and I took him out in no time. It felt good to be able to be on the winning end of a fight again. Alright, where am I? I've got to get back to the base. I took a look at the surrounding area and realized I wasn't far from my base. But thankfully, Abomination didn't follow me. I should be home in no time. As I arrived back at my base, I went to talk to Tony to tell him everything that had happened. So yeah, now I don't know how I'll be able to beat him.
Well, there might be one more gamma spot you could use. I didn't mention it before because it's pretty hard to get to.
Where do I need to go? I'll do whatever it takes.
It's deep inside of the earth. Give me some time to improve the detector, and I'll be able to lead you right to it.
There wasn't a whole lot for me to do but wait, so I decided to use the time to finish the hamburger statue. I know it was kind of a strange thing to build, but there was something about a giant hamburger that just gave me a sense of normalcy in this crazy world. Soon, the statue was complete. On days 90 to 94, I went to visit Black Panther. Alright, T'Challa, today's the day. I'm going to beat your obstacle course.
You are already strong enough, my friend. You don't need to prove anything on the obstacle course.
I have to prove it to myself. Besides, I want to win that item you mentioned.
Ah yes, the item. Go on then.
I ran to the course and got right to it. I could get all the strength and muscle in the world, but if I couldn't triumph a test of will, what good was it? The obstacle course was still as hard as ever, but my friends believed in me, and I had to win. Before I knew it, I had beaten the course. Yes, I did it!
Well done, well done. Here is your prize, as promised.
Black Panther tossed out a hammer. Is that Mjolnir? Thor's hammer? I picked it up. Wait, I picked it up.
It's just a replica. I may have made it sound cooler than it was going to be. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I actually really like it. It reminds me of my friend. If only he could be here too. That's when I had an idea. I headed over to the hamburger statue and started to make some adjustments. I decided to add a helmet and some arms. It wasn't my friend, but I was happy to have a reminder of him. I was admiring my statue when suddenly Thor appeared. Thor, what are you doing here? Well, I'm not really there. I'm just kind of there. But the real question is, why did you make me a hamburger? It's a long, hungry story. Don't worry about it. Sure. Say, we do sound a lot alike, don't we? Well, that's because I spent 100 days as you before. Oh yeah, that was awesome. Everyone should go watch that video next. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, good luck on your upcoming fight. I know you'll smash it. Nice, you're always so funny. Talk to you soon. Thor disappeared. Time to go check on that new detector. On days 95 to 97, I went to Tony's to see if he had finished the detector. As I entered, it looked like something was wrong. Tony, what's going on? Tony was floating in a water tank on life support. I took a look around and saw a note lying on the table. What was going on? Only thing that could give the detector enough juice was my arc reactor. I will hang out here till then. He's risking his life for me to find this. I can't let him down. Before I could leave though, I had to go say goodbye to the kids. They thanked me for giving them a safe place to live and wished me luck in my battle against the abomination. As a final gesture, they gave me a piece of jewelry to remember them by. Now there's just one thing left to do. Using all of the ancient debris I had collected in the nether, I managed to make some netherite scraps. Then I used that to make some netherite ingots. Finally, I was able to upgrade all of my equipment to netherite. On day 98, I had reached the Badlands. The detector had been steady so far, so I knew I had to be getting close. Okay, it looks like this is the spot. Man, how deep do I need to go? Just then, there was a giant scary bug, and he looked hungry. Buzz off, bug boy. The bug was a vicious little, well, big fighter. I had never met something so determined to end me. The only way a bug could be this big has to be because of the radiation. I kept swinging my fists and was eventually able to knock him out. All right, let's level up for the last time. I stepped up to the radiation and nothing happened. What's going on? I'm not absorbing the radiation. That's when I realized I never was absorbing radiation to get bigger. Every time I had gotten bigger, it was because I was angry about a friend being in danger. I took a look at the locket the kids had given me. Inside of the locket was a picture of the kids with their now missing parents. The abomination has taken so much away from everyone I care about. I have to be stronger. I was so angry about it that I started to feel the power flowing into me, and I was about to grow bigger than ever before. On day 99, I came bursting from the ground in my final giant form. And look how many hearts I have. Time to find the abomination. That's when I noticed that the detector could find other gamma radiation users. Man, Tony thought of everything. I flicked the switch and saw it was pointing at me. Wait, that's not right. I flicked it again and it pointed another direction. Oh no, it's pointing to my base. I took off running. My friends were going to be in trouble. Back at the base, there was an explosion outside the walls. The kids hurried and ran under the desk for cover.
Here he comes, Wanda. Get ready.
Abomination came breaking through the wall as Scarlet Witch and Black Panther tried to hold him off. They were doing their best, but he was too strong. As I got closer to the base, I could see the fight was intense. I hurried and jumped in.
Nice of you to join us.
Couldn't let you guys have all the fun.
How about you two shut it and let me pound you into the ground?
We'll see about that. We continued to fight as the abomination exploded more and more of the base. We had to win, but he was too strong. He kept knocking us back. Suddenly, there was an explosion, and the side of the children's room exploded.
Help!
Oh, now you've got me really angry, and you won't like me when I'm angry. A surge of energy came into me, and I grew even bigger than I thought was possible. Hulk smash! I started swinging, punching the heck out of the abomination.
What? How? Where did this come from?
The abomination was really backing down now. I punched and punched. Then at long last, he was defeated. Goodbye for good. We took a moment to celebrate our victory. But wait, what about the children? We rushed over to the house and found the kids under the desk. Oh, thank goodness you're okay. They laughed and cried out of happiness. They gave me a hug and I started to calm down. As I calmed down, I shrunk back to a more normal size. The danger was gone. On day 100, we took time to rebuild the base. The danger was gone, but who knows when it would strike again. But when it did, we would be waiting, and we would be ready. On day 1, I spawned in as Godzilla. Haha, check me out. I am so tiny. Look, I only have 5 hearts. I was so surprised, I almost didn't notice a scientist sneaking up behind me.
I've got you now.
The scientist started throwing nets at me, barely missing. Whoa, who is this guy? I've got to get out of here. The scientist continued to chase me, throwing nets. Up ahead, I could see a small hole, so I hurried and jumped inside, landing in a small cave. He's too big to fit, so I should be safe in here. Just then, I heard a rattling sound, and there was a rattlesnake right there. Oh no! I jumped back out of the hole right next to the scientist.
There you are, you little lizard.
I ran off as he kept throwing his nets. I was running out of places to hide. That's when I had an idea. I hope you don't like getting wet, and I hope I know how to swim. I dove into the ocean and was happy to find that not only could I swim, but I could swim extremely fast. It looked like the scientist wasn't interested in diving in after me either.
I'll get you.
What a start to the day. Who was that guy? Why would he want me? Maybe he was just trying to capture all the animals. I decided to ask a nearby fish if he knew anything. As I was swimming, I realized I could breathe underwater too. Hey, did you see that guy back there? What's his deal? The fish didn't respond and started attacking me. It was a barracuda. Hey, stop it. I don't want to hurt you, but I will. The barracuda didn't say anything and kept attacking. I guess he didn't know how to talk. Well, let's see what these claws can do. I swiped him with my claws and saw that I packed a punch. It only took a few hits to take him down. I was strong enough to get out of that fight, but he was just a little fish. I don't know if my claws will help me out of something much bigger. I was feeling tired after such an eventful day, so I made my way back to the shore to look for a place to rest. Hopefully I wouldn't run into that scientist again, but just in case, I needed to start getting prepared to fight. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out from under the tree. Today's the day I get set to fight back. If I was going to survive, I needed a safe place to live. I didn't know where that scientist was operating from, so I didn't feel safe building a base on land. I decided my best bet was in the water. Before I can get to building, I need the tools to do it. I immediately got punching some trees so that I could get some wood. With the wood, I made a crafting table and fashioned a pickaxe. Then I mined out some stone and used the stone to make a set of stone tools: a pickaxe, axe, shovel, and sword. With my new tools, I started gathering the materials I would need. Building a base out in the water was going to be an interesting challenge, but I think the final build is going to look really cool. While I was gathering some supplies in the forest, I saw a boar off in the distance. I don't think that barracuda could talk, but maybe this boar could help me out. I made my way over to him. Hey buddy, have you seen a scientist roaming around? The boar took one look at me and charged. Oh come on, I was just trying to figure out what's going on. This guy was hitting pretty hard, and I took quite a bit of damage. It's a good thing I had made myself a sword. I'm sorry for bothering you, but now you're just being rude. I used my sword and took him down. Alright, looks like I'm the only talking animal out here. Let's get back to work. I managed to gather a bunch of other materials and even came across an old boat. There were a lot of materials to grab, so I got as much as I could so my vision could come to life. I headed into the water and found a good spot to build my base on the seafloor. Using the materials I had gathered, I built a platform and started putting everything I would need together. It was going to be hard for the scientists to find me down here. I was able to make some really good progress, but I'd need to go find some more materials tomorrow. On day 3, I needed to get some more supplies, so I headed over to a nearby mountain. I made my way up to the the top of the mountain and saw some watermelon. I went ahead and harvested them when suddenly I heard a strange noise. Huh? Where did that come from? I'm not letting someone sneak up on me again. I looked from side to side but didn't see anything. Maybe it was just the wind? What's that? I looked around just in time to see a giant bird swoop down and pick me up. Hey, let me go. What's the big idea? She didn't seem like she was trying to hurt me, but where could she be taking me? After a moment, I could see something huge in the distance. It was a giant nest. Uh-oh, I must be food for her babies. Moments later, the bird dropped me into the nest, and luckily the babies hadn't hatched yet, but I could hear something moving inside of the eggs. I had to get out of here.
Hey, you!
Who was that? I turned and saw a little squirrel standing there. Hey, you could talk. I was starting to think I was the only animal here that could.
Yeah, I can talk, but you hear that? These eggs are starting to crack, and we gotta get out of here.
You're a squirrel. Can't you just climb out of here?
The nest is made of mud. I can't get a good grip. If you can dig us out with your claws, though, I have a good way to get us to the ground.
The eggs started making even more cracking sounds. We had to hurry. I started swinging my claws and managed to break through the walls of the nest. Oh man, that is a long way down. I hope you know what you're doing. The squirrel tossed me an umbrella. Suddenly, there was a big crack, and we heard some baby birds starting to tweet. Jump! The squirrel and I jumped off the nest and slowly floated down to the ground. Whew, that was a close call. I've been having a lot of those lately.
Don't tell me, did you run into that scientist too?
Yeah, what's that guy's problem?
He's been trying to round up all the talking animals. All I know is anyone he captures is never seen again. He must be experimenting on them, or something worse.
I could tell the squirrel must have lost some good friends to this scientist, but I didn't want to pressure her. Well, we can find a way to stop him. Come on, you can live in my base with me. We should be safe there. On days 4 to 5, the squirrel and I had made it to the beach closest to my base. That's when I realized she wasn't going to be able to live underwater with me, but I had an idea. By the way, what's your name?
My friends call me Sandy.
Sandy it is. Could you give me a hand collecting some sand? I know just the thing to build for you. Sandy and I spent some time gathering sand for me to use in the build. With all the sand collected, I loaded it into the furnace and started smelting it into glass. Just because she's a squirrel doesn't mean she can't live under the ocean. With the glass complete, I got to work on building her a house. My idea was to use the glass to create a dome on the seafloor that could then be filled with air for her to breathe. That way, she could live safely underwater, but still feel like she was living freely above ground. It was tricky working underwater, but in the end, I was able to get it to work. I think Sandy is going to love it. After telling Sandy I was done with her base, I hopped into the water and was suddenly attacked by a colossal squid.
Oh no, Zozo, let me help.
It's okay, I don't want you to get trapped underwater. I can take this guy. The squid was crazy strong. He hit hard, which was scary because I only had 5 hearts. I needed to do something, and fast. This is gonna hurt. I aimed for the squid's eye and landed a blow with my sword. That did the trick, and he was destroyed.
Nice going, Zozo. What's that?
I took a closer look and saw the giant squid had dropped something. This must have been trapped in his stomach. I went over and picked it up. Oh, awesome, it's a pile of sand. If I throw this at an enemy, it will cause them to have temporary blindness.
You know, this attack got me thinking. We need something to scare people and animals away from our base. I've got an idea, but I need to check some things first to see if it will work. Stay tuned.
On days 6 to 8, I was on the beach when I started feeling really hungry. Sheesh, it's been a while since I've had something to eat. I need to work on a food source. I decided that since my favorite food was meat, my best bet was to round up some different animals and keep them up on the shore. I set up a few different pens so I could keep all the animals I was going to collect in one place. With the pen set up, I made my way across the land and managed to find some sheep, some chicken, some pigs, and some cows. I led them all back towards the pen and got all of them locked up in their pens. As I was finishing up, I heard something in the distance. What's that sound? I looked towards the source of the sound. A couple of deer came running out of the trees.
You need to run. He's coming. He's coming.
You guys are talking animals. It must be the scientist. A moment later, I saw what was coming. It was the scientist. He was in a giant net firing machine. As the deer ran, he managed to capture them with a couple of leads. Oh no, I've got to help. I grabbed my pile of sand. Maybe this could help me. As I got closer to the scientist, he saw me.
You again. You're the one I want most of all.
He turned and started shooting at me. I tried throwing some sand at him as I made my way into the trees to try and throw him off.
Hey, where did you go?
The scientist drove through the trees looking for me, but couldn't see me hiding behind the tree. He seemed to be giving up.
Well, at least I can capture you two.
He was gonna leave with the deer. I had to stop him. I pulled out my pile of sand, then jumped next to the scientist. You didn't see this one coming. I threw the sand and got him right in the eyes.
Ah, what did you do? I can't see a thing.
The scientist kept trying to throw nets at me, but couldn't hit me. But in his rage, the deer had broken free. He was still too strong for me to fight, so I hurried and ran toward my base as the deer escaped into the forest. The scientist got way too close to my base. I better hide out for the night. On days 9 to 11, I returned back to my base to talk to Sandy. I told her everything that had happened with the scientist and that I had barely managed to escape.
It's okay, Zozo. We'll find a way to beat him and save everyone.
I don't know. I just feel like he he's so much stronger than us, and he keeps making new upgraded weapons. Weapons we couldn't even beat in the first place.
If we don't have hope, what do we have? Giving up isn't going to solve the problem, so we have to keep fighting.
I suppose you're right. By the way, what was your idea for scaring enemies away from our base? That seems like just the thing we need right now.
Oh yeah, I just finished gathering everything I needed for the first part. Come give me a hand.
Sandy and I headed out and got to work. Sandy said she had spent the day getting supplies, and using those supplies, we'd be able to build a huge, terrifying statue. She wanted it to be a surprise though, so she didn't tell me what we were building, just where I needed to put the blocks. After a while, we had finished the first part. This is looking great, I think. Can you tell what it is? After a lot of building, Sandy and I were starting to feel pretty hungry, so Sandy suggested we build a farm. We got working on it right away. I had collected the animals for a food source, but since Sandy was a squirrel, she didn't eat meat. By the time we had finished building, Sandy's hunger was getting dangerously low.
Hurry and plant the crops. I don't think I should risk moving too much. My hunger bar is getting really low.
Oh no, I only got enough plants to lure the animals into their pens. I'll go get some for you.
It's okay, but please hurry.
On days 12 to 13, I was exploring the land looking for seeds when I came across a small farm. A garden. This will have just what Sandy needs. But who lives here? Next to the garden was a small hut, so I went to knock on the door. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I just took a little bit of their crops. But to my surprise, the door opened and a scientist was standing in the door. Oh no, another scientist! I gotta get out of here! I turned to run when the scientist called out to me.
Whoa there, hang on, little fella. I'm not gonna hurt you.
I stopped running and turned cautiously toward her. How do I know you're not going to hurt me?
I guess you don't, but I can tell by your face that you really need these crops. Come on in and let's talk. I think I can actually be of more help than you think.
She was right. Sandy's hunger levels were too low for me to risk wasting time looking for another food source. I headed inside the hut. So you have something that can help me?
I do. Information. I think it's important that you understand who that scientist is. That way you can defeat him.
Alright, I'm listening. Who is this guy?
The scientist used to be a coworker of mine. We spent years working on potions and inventions that would improve the lives of the animals around us. In our studies, we had discovered some animals possessed special abilities. Most of the time it was that they could talk, but every so often, one would come along that was capable of even greater power. One day though, his wife disappeared, sending him into a spiral. He was on a path I couldn't follow, so I ran away. The scientist blamed the animals for what had happened to his wife, and he became obsessed with harvesting them and using their power to build a super weapon, one that would give him ultimate control over everyone. Any animals he extracts power from die in the process. He is powerful for sure, but one of the rare animals, one that possesses extraordinary abilities, can stop him. Zozo, you are one of those animals.
Me? I don't have any special abilities. I can hardly win any fights, and the last time I met up with the scientist, I barely made it out alive. There's no way you could be right about that.
I know it, Zozo, I do. You might not see it now, but I'm sure one day you will. I'm standing by and I'm ready to help how I can. Hang on to this radio and give me a call if you ever need help.
I picked up the radio, then she led me outside to the garden.
And here, you can take some peanuts from my garden.
I harvested some plants and peanuts, then left to head back to the base. Special powers? Maybe she knew something I didn't, but right now it just didn't make any sense. From days 14 to 15, I was making my way back to the base when I heard a familiar but terrifying sound above me. I looked up and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Oh no, it's that bird again, and this time it has some of its babies with it. I didn't want to be their breakfast before, and I didn't want to now. I still had a little bit of sand left over from my fight with the scientist. Maybe it could help me win here. Come and get it! The bird let out a screech, but I was ready. I took my pile of sand and threw it right in its eyes. The bird let out another yell and landed not too far away. Here, I've got some breakfast for ya. I took my sword and quickly started to attack the bird. Since it was on the ground, it had no chance, and I was able to knock it out. That was one down, but I still had to deal with the kids. And now I was all out of sand. Come on down, kids, I've got some leftovers for ya. The baby birds shrieked and dove down as well. They weren't nearly as strong or clever as the big bird, and so one by one they flew straight into my swinging blade, taking them down for good. Flying is overrated. Swimming is the way to go. Suddenly, I felt energy beginning to course through my veins, and I evolved into a bigger Godzilla. Check it out, I even have 10 hearts. I was feeling much stronger than before, and found out that my roar could hurt enemies. My tail had become a weapon of its own too. On days 16 through 19, I made it back to the base, and was grateful to see that Sandy was still alive. I gave her something to eat, and then headed into the farm to plant the seeds, so she'd have a renewable source of food as well. Just as I was finishing up, Sandy came running into the room.
Zozo, come quick. I need your help.
Sandy led me to another part of the base, where she had started mining down into the earth.
While you were planting the farm, I went ahead and started working on a mine. I had mined into a cave system where there was some iron, but something attacked me. I didn't get a good look at what it was, but I was wondering if you could go check it out.
Sure thing, thing, Sandy. I'll see what I can find. I headed down into the tunnel and soon emerged in the cave. I could see the iron Sandy had mentioned and walked over to it. Just then, a group of drowned attacked. Oof, these guys. This is a good chance to put my new abilities to the test. I quickly swung my tail and knocked them away from me. With them backed off, I then hit them with my roar attack, which hurt them from afar. Oh, sorry, were you guys going somewhere? I then hopped in with my sword and started slashing away. I continued to use my new abilities in combination with my sword and was able to defeat them in no time. Well, with those guys out of the way, I might as well grab this iron. I then took out my pick and mined out all the iron I could find. With all the iron collected, I made my way back up to the base where I smelted down all of the iron and then used it to make a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 20 to 22, I was woken up by the sound of a crackle on my radio. I tuned the frequency to get a clearer sound.
Zozo, do you copy? Zozo, do you read me?
Hey, yes, I'm here. What's going on?
The mad scientist is heading your way. You're in danger.
Oh, no, it's okay. My whole base is underwater. He's not going to be able to reach me here.
You don't understand. He built a mech suit that will let him access your base. You need to get out of there, now.
I hurried out of my base and swam up to the surface. I couldn't risk him getting into the base and hurting Sandy. I made my way to the beach. Maybe I could cut him off here. Just then, I saw the scientist approaching. The old woman was right. He was in an aquatic mech suit. I'm stronger now. I think I can take him. Soon, the scientist was before me.
Oh, someone's been eating their veggies. You're even more valuable to me now.
This has to stop. You're killing innocent animals.
Oh, boo-hoo. You don't even know what you are. You have a power inside of you just waiting to burst out, and I'm gonna get it.
The scientist revved his suit and fired a laser at me. I ran into the water to get some space between us. Before he could get me again, though, I let out a roar, which hurt him. I jumped closer and hit him with my tail, which seemed to put a dent in his machine. He didn't stay scared for long, though, and kept fighting back.
What is this power? Ooh, you're even stronger than you look.
He kept firing his laser beam at me, which really hurt. I had more health and armor than before. I was taking some serious damage.
You can't win, Zozo. You're mine.
I rose up and swung with all my might, which caused his suit to start smoking. I swung again and again. I was winning.
Whoa, where's the strength coming from? I can't lose.
Before I could deliver the final blow, the scientist hit a button, ejecting him from his suit and launching him into the air.
This isn't over.
The scientist was gone for now. But if there was one thing I did learn, it's that the scientist isn't invincible. Next time we meet up, I'll be ready. On days 23 to 25, Sandy came and found me in my room. She suggested that we go search the wreckage of the scientist's machine. Maybe we'd find something. We headed up to the surface and took a look at where the scientist's machine had been destroyed. It looked like there was something in the wreckage. What's this? I picked it up and saw it was a stack of javelins. Oh, interesting. This will give me the chance to do some ranged attacks. I kept looking and saw that there was a notebook as well. I wonder what's inside. I picked it up and opened it up. If you were liking this video so far, please like and subscribe, and leave a comment on what adventure you think we should go on next. I don't know what that means. On days 26 to 29, Sandy and I headed back to the base to get some work done on the statue. I was pretty exhausted from the fight, so we thought this would be a good activity to take our minds off the conflict. It was coming along pretty well, I think. Can you tell what it is yet? We stopped working as Sandy explained to me that we were going to need some amber blocks and warped stems to get more work done. She suggested I head to a nearby island, as she heard I might be able to find some there. I'm on it. I leapt into the water and started swimming off in the direction Sandy had mentioned. In my bigger form, swimming was much faster than before. As I approached the island, I noticed something was already here. I reached the shore and saw it was infested with green snakes. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna squeeze by and grab what I need. Thanks. I made my way over to the blocks I needed and started mining them out. I was able to grab a bunch of them when I was suddenly attacked by the snakes. Guys, I just needed a little bit. These guys weren't talkers though, and they started fighting and snapping at me with their fangs. Hey, that hurts, knock it off. I smacked some of them away and then used some of the new javelins I had just gotten to keep them at a distance. By this combo, I managed to take them all out. Alrighty, back to business. I had gotten all of the blocks I needed, so I jumped back into the water to head home. On days 30 to 35, I was heading back to my base when I was suddenly attacked by a shark. Whoa, get out of here, you man-eater. The shark had a powerful bite, and it was doing a lot of damage, but he didn't know who he was messing with. Let's see how you like this. As the shark lined up to charge me, I pulled out my javelins and speared him. Turns out he didn't like it at all. He was hurt, but lined up to charge at me again. Suddenly, he turned and swam off in the other direction. Yeah, that's what I thought. You better run. I turned to keep swimming, but saw what made the shark swim off. There was a huge whale right behind me. Oh boy, please don't eat me.
Eat you? You don't look very good to eat.
Oh, you talk. In that case, nice to meet you.
Likewise. Say, I've been watching you fight. You're one brave guy. Do you think you could help me? This evil scientist captured my baby, and I need someone to rescue her.
Oh yeah, I'm well acquainted with this scientist. Do you know where she's being held? I'll do anything to stop that guy.
There's a holding pen not too far from here. I would go there myself, but my lack of arms stopped me from breaking through anything. It's actually pretty inconvenient.
Don't you worry. I'll get there as fast as I can. On days 36 to 40, I made my way to the holding pen. After a bit of swimming, I could see the enclosure. This must be it. I snuck in a little closer and could see that the holding pen was attached to what looked like a small base. There were several guards on the outside. Well, I'd like to avoid confronting them directly if possible. Let me see if I can get in contact with the baby whale. I hopped back into the water and swam over to the pen. I could see the baby whale inside. Hey there, little one. Your dad sent me to rescue you.
I'm so happy to see you. I don't know how much time I have. There used to be a lot more animals in here with me, but one by one, they were taken away and haven't come back. We're the only ones left.
Okay, hang on for as long as you can. I noticed there were a lot of guards out there, and I don't want to risk fighting all of them. Do you know if there's another way in?
I think there might be a water duct you can break into that leads into the enclosure. If you dig into the side of the hill on the east side of the base, you should hit it. Or was it the north side? I can't remember.
It's okay. I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll start digging and I'll see you soon. From days 41 to 43, I worked on digging my tunnel through the base. I feel like this is going great. I've got to be getting close. I think she was saying I need to start digging up right about now. I changed direction and started heading up. This was kind of a nice change to not be attacked head on. I felt like a proper secret agent. Suddenly, I burst through the surface and saw I was right in the middle of their base. Uh-oh, looks like I'm not a very good secret agent. I jumped out of the hole and the guards swarmed in and started to attack. There were more guys in here than I thought. They had caught me off guard and were really starting to take down my health. Oh, there's so many of them. But I still had my special moves. I let out a roar and was able to hurt some of the bad guys. I quickly started swinging my tail and hitting back. One by one, I was starting to take them out. There were so many of them, but I was a one-monster wrecking machine. Maybe I do make a better action star than secret agent. Eventually, I was able to gain the upper hand and the entire base was clear. In one of the rooms, I saw a control panel with a couple of switches on it. I went ahead and flipped them. This must be controlling the gate. All right, let's go save those animals. I made my way out of the main base and headed toward the holding tank. I went around to the exit to make sure the whale got out safely. Go on and be free, my friend. Just then, the big whale dad from before came swimming up as his daughter swam over to him.
Thank you, Zozo. I was afraid I would never see my daughter again. If you are ever in need of help, I will do everything I can to be there for you.
On days 44 to 49, I had arrived back at my base. I had nearly forgotten I had collected materials for my statue, so Sandy and I had gotten right to work building the next part. I think I'm starting to see what it's supposed to be. What about you? Next, I got to work building some guard towers above my base. If my run-ins with the scientists thus far had taught me anything, it was that I needed to be prepared for any kind of attack. Once the towers were complete, I decided to give them a test. That night, I lured some mobs into the area and led them right into my trap. The defenses worked perfectly. The scientist is going to be in for a nasty surprise if he tries to break in here. On days 50 to 53, I woke up to the sound of a crackle on the radio. It was another warning call that the scientist was coming. Again, good thing we laid those traps. He's not going to be able to get in this time. I swam to the top of the base to get a better look and saw it wasn't just the scientist attacking this time. He was standing in a helicopter with a squadron of robot sharks in the water.
I might not be able to swim in, but my elite shark squad can. Alpha team, attack!
The sharks immediately jumped into action. They were headed right for the base. I braced myself for a fight. The first few sharks got caught in the crossfire of my guard towers, which quickly took them out. Nice, those worked perfectly. The next few sharks were much luckier though, and I was going to have to take them on myself. The sharks were putting up a good fight, but they were no match for my claws and sword. I also used my roar and spin attack, cutting through them bit by bit. With all of my attacks, I was able to rip through them and quickly took them out. Ha! This guy must be running out of ideas. Suddenly, I heard an explosion and saw some other robot sharks had blown a hole in Sandy's dome. A shark swam in, tied her up, and pulled her away.
Zozo, help!
They were taking Sandy. In my anger, my blood started to boil, and I could feel a rush of energy. Suddenly, I grew in size and leveled up. The scientist had gotten his hands on the rope and pulled Sandy into the helicopter. I started making my way toward them, but the scientist took out a rocket launcher, blowing up one of the towers.
Say goodbye to your little friend.
The scientist fired up his engine and flew off with Sandy. I was so mad. There were a couple of robot sharks nearby, and in my rage, I opened my mouth and shot out a stream of fire. This must be one of my new abilities. The fire destroyed them almost immediately. I've got to get Sandy back. On days 54 to 57, I was in the depths of despair. First things first though, I started to make repairs to the base. I couldn't believe I didn't protect Sandy from the scientist. She trusted me and I let her down. And I had no idea where the scientist's main base was. Then I had an idea. I headed over to the radio. Hey, are you there? Sandy was captured by the scientist and I really need your help.
Zozo, I was just about to contact you. We have something to discuss, but I think it's best done in person.
I'll be there soon. I departed my base and headed to the old woman's house. When I arrived, she was waiting for me outside.
Zozo, thank you for coming.
Of course, what's going on?
I lied to you earlier. The scientist's wife, she didn't die. I'm his wife.
What? Why didn't you say so before?
I was afraid the truth would be too much for you and make you refuse to work with me.
So why are you telling me now? How can I know anything you've told me is true?
Everything else I have told you is true, but there is more to the story. My husband was a brilliant man, but we were under pressure to deliver our findings by a corrupt mayor of the nearby city. We were his prisoners, and the experience turned my husband to madness. I believe there is still good in him.
So what are you suggesting?
I know you must hate him, but please don't hurt him. I think he can come back to the light.
No promises, but I'll see what I can do. Rescuing Sandy is my #1 priority. She thanked me and told me the location to the scientist base. It wasn't going to be easy to infiltrate, so I needed to head back to my base to prepare. On days 58 to 62, I returned back to my base and headed into the mine. I was still using subpar gear and was hoping to find some diamonds. I was still sad about Sandy being gone, but I needed to stay focused. After a bit of exploring, I soon saw diamonds. Just what I was looking for. I mined all of the diamonds I needed, but as I went further into the cave, there was some lava blocking my path. Just then, I heard a roar behind me and saw a black bear had me cornered, but I wasn't worried. Impressive, but I can roar too. I opened my mouth and fired my fire breath at him. He didn't like that at all and attacked. I can go claw to claw with you, no problem. The bear swiped at me as I fought back. He was strong, but he didn't know what he was getting himself into. We exchanged blows as I shot him with my fire breath. After a bit, I took him out with ease. With my pockets full of diamonds, I headed back up into the base and got to work crafting. In no time, I had crafted myself a full set of diamond armor and equipped it. I'd like to see anyone try and pierce this armor. On days 63 to 66, I got back to work on the statue. Sandy wasn't around to tell me what we were building, but I felt like I had a good idea of where we were going with it. I would have loved to finish it, but it didn't feel right to do it without Sandy, so I decided to wait a little bit longer so we could finish it together. I'm all ready to go, but before I do, I'm told there's a red sub button you can press. The more subs we have in our navy, the stronger we'll be. On days 67 to 70, I left my base and traveled across the land toward the scientist's headquarters. After a while, I saw some buildings beginning to appear on the horizon. That must be it. I had no idea there was such a large city nearby. As I got closer to the base, I saw it was well protected, with guards positioned all over the outside of the base. It didn't matter though. I was angry, and no one was going to keep me out. Sandy, I'm coming for ya! I ran up to the guards and started to attack. As the guards took aim and started to fire. These guys were elite troops, and I could feel the strength of their shots, but so far, my armor was holding up. Where's the scientist? The guards didn't seem interested in my questions and kept attacking. I was making my way through the guards, using every attack in my arsenal. The place was starting to catch fire, but soon enough, I cleared out all of the guards. Time to get in there and see what's going on. On days 71 to 74, I entered further into the base, attacking more guards along the way. There were a bunch of them stationed in the lobby, but as much as they tried to take me down, they stood no chance against my flurry of attacks. Once they were all destroyed, I entered the next room, which was full of animals in cages. Don't worry guys, I'll get you out. I quickly attacked all of the guards in the room. They really didn't seem to appreciate my fire breath. Soon enough, I had taken them all out. I then headed over to the wall and pressed a button, which released them all from their cages. Be free, my friends. Just then, I saw a bear had started attacking another animal. That's when I noticed he was a robot bear. Oh no! I quickly ran over and started fighting him, taking him out as quick as I could. But there were some robot ducks that had started attacking me too. How could the scientists do this to the animals? I managed to fight them all off too. I've got to find Sandy, and quick! I headed into another room and saw a few more animals in cages. I was careful to check and be sure they weren't robots before breaking them out. I took out some more guards and then saw a strange object floating over a block. What could this be? I stepped closer and picked it up. It was a new whirlwind attack. Oh cool, I can't wait to test this out. Just then, another group of robot animals appeared, and I was shocked by who was leading them. Sandy, what have they done to you? The group of animals attacked, including Sandy. It was no use. It wasn't the Sandy I knew and loved. She had been experimented on and turned into a robot. I focused on fighting off the other animals, but I couldn't bring myself to fight Sandy. I was able to take a few of them out, but what was I gonna do about Sandy? Sandy, it's me! I was so distracted trying to run away, I didn't notice that more guards had come into the room. They immediately started to attack me. This was a fight I couldn't win. They cornered me against a wall and then shot me with a tranquilizer dart, putting me to sleep. On day 75 to 78, I woke up in a cage. I've got to get out of here. I looked for my pickaxe, but they must have taken it from me. There was no way for me to break myself out.
Going somewhere? I made this cage especially for you. You'll never be able to break out.
You can do whatever you want. Just let Sandy go. As I said this, I noticed that Sandy turned and looked at me.
Ooh, do you feel sad for your friend? Boo-hoo. I'll tell you what, maybe I won't destroy you. Maybe I'll just turn you into a robot, just like her. Then you can play with your little friend all day.
You're gonna pay for this. It doesn't matter what you do. Good always triumphs over evil. As I said this, Sandy started to shake and her circuit started to make a crackling noise.
Zozo,
The scientist turned and looked at her.
What? She's overpowering the mind control.
Suddenly, Sandy ran over to the cage release and hit the button, freeing me from my cage. You're in for it now.
Ah, oh no!
The scientist ran out of the room. Before I chased after him, though, I took a look at Sandy.
Go, Zozo. The mind control is taking back over. I don't want to fight.
Without wasting another moment, I took off after the scientist. He hadn't gotten very far, as he had just run into the other room. But that's because he managed to get himself into a fancy mech suit.
Enough games. I'm going to end this now.
The scientist attacked. His weapon was way stronger than I was expecting, but I was way stronger than even he knew. I hit him with everything I had. I used my weapons, swung my tail, and shot him with my fire breath.
So much strength. You would make me invincible.
The scientist fought right back, using every method he could to make sure I really felt it. He fired his weapons and was able to move quickly around the room. At one point, I was down to just a few hearts.
Time to say goodbye.
Just then, I noticed he was standing next to some TNT. Goodbye. I shot my fire breath and hit the TNT, which knocked him out of his suit. He slumped down against the wall.
No, I must complete my mission.
Just then, I noticed a control panel on the other side of the room, labeled Mind Control. This can free Sandy. I hurried over to the switch and flipped it. To my surprise, I heard a crackling sound and saw it was coming from the scientist. He had been under mind control.
Zozo, thank you. I'm so sorry.
Who did this to you?
It was the mayor. He told me he would destroy my wife if I didn't keep working for him. I refused, but he did this to me and forced me to comply. I'm just glad she got away.
It's not too late. I can get you a health potion or something.
No, it is too late for me. I'm allergic to potions. I know, it's really inconvenient. Tell my wife I'm sorry.
He put his head down and was gone. I'll tell her. I'm sorry things couldn't have been different. I'll find the evil mayor and make things right. On day 79 to 84, I headed back to the other room to find Sandy. I was on my way back when she found me.
Zozo, my mind has been free. You must have defeated the scientist.
I explained to Sandy everything that had happened, including that the scientist wasn't really the bad guy. It was the mayor this whole time.
Oh no. Well, let's take a look around here. The scientist was working on a weapon. We better find it and destroy it.
Sandy and I took off, taking a look around the base. I noticed that the base was empty now. The guards must have been under mind control too. As we walked into one of the rooms, we saw a strange glowing object floating on a platform. Sandy picked it up and set it down in front of me so I could take a closer look too. It doesn't look like a weapon, but it definitely looks like something powerful. What do you think, Sandy? But before Sandy can answer, a man in a suit came strolling into the room, stopping in front of the glowing object. This had to be the mayor.
Yeah, you two certainly tried, but I'm sorry to tell you, you failed. That nerd had pretty much finished the weapon, and there's nothing you losers can do about it. The people of this city tried to kick me out of my job, but I'll show them who the top dog is.
The mayor picked up the glowing weapon. There was a blinding light, and as the light faded, we could see he had turned into a mecha Godzilla. He was as big as a building.
Ha ha ha, good luck stopping me now.
The mayor turned and headed toward the city, breaking everything in his path. Suddenly, he began shooting lasers out of his eyes as he smashed the buildings.
This is what happens to those who dare oppose me. You citizens can cower in your buildings all you want. I will find you and I will destroy this entire city.
Come on, Sandy, let's get out of here. He's way too strong. He'll crush us. On days 85 to 89, Sandy and I arrived back at our base. It was good to have her back home, but I was still feeling like a failure. I feel like I can't do anything right. I couldn't save the scientist, and the mayor got his hands on the weapon. Now thousands of people are going to die.
You can't be so hard on yourself, Zozo. The fight isn't over. It's not much, but they should help. I stole them from the lab.
Sandy tossed out a few bars of netherite. Thanks, Sandy. I can max out my gear with this. And you know what? Now that you're back, we should finish our statue. It only feels right. I made a quick stop at an anvil and used it to upgrade all my gear to netherite. It made me feel a little bit better knowing I would be fully protected. I then met Sandy out at the statue and we got to work finishing it up. Doing so was helping me come out of my slump. I still didn't know how we could defeat the mayor, but my confidence was increasing. There was just one more thing I had to do. But before moving to that, we finished the statue. So what do you think? Did you guess what it was? No sailor's gonna feel safe coming near our base with this. Next up, I headed off to the old woman's house. Unfortunately, I only had the bad news of her husband's death to share with her. She greeted me outside.
I can tell by your face you have bad news for me. It's okay. I'm sure you did your best.
I think it's important that you know the truth. Your husband was forced to do all this work after being put under mind control by the mayor. In his final moments, he was himself and wanted me to tell you he was sorry. I could see that there were tears in her eyes.
Thank you for coming and telling me. I should have known that mayor was behind everything.
I explained to her the situation and how the mayor was currently on a rampage in the city. The mention of that seemed to shock her.
He used it? While you have been gone, I've been researching why my husband was so focused on capturing you. I couldn't quite figure it out, but I'm positive that the weapon wouldn't have been safe for someone to use without your power added to it.
Well, it certainly seemed to work just fine, regardless of any power I have. He seems to be pretty strong himself. Just then, she perked up with an idea.
You know, if there's one thing I knew about my husband, it's that he was incredibly thorough in his work. He never completed a project without having a backup.
But Sandy and I searched all over the base and didn't see anything like what we found.
Is there another lab somewhere out there?
Just then, I remembered the other pen where the baby whale was being kept. There could be something there. On days 90 to 94, I arrived back at the pen where the baby whale had been kept captive. The base was completely empty now, except that it had been overrun by charged creepers. Oh, stay away from me! I managed to fight through the mobs and make my way into the base. Inside the base, there were some skeletons, and they started firing their bows at me. Get your airheads out of here. I managed to hit them with fire breath and fight through them. As I searched the base, I had to keep fighting my way through the mobs. After I had destroyed them, I noticed there was a switch hiding behind one of the columns. What does this do? I flipped the switch, and a secret door opened up. I got closer to see what was hanging on the wall. There it is, a backup of the weapon. I stepped forward and picked it up, taking special care not to activate it. I better hurry and get this back to my base. On days 95 to 96, I returned back to my base and met up with Sandy. Sandy, I found the backup of the weapon. What do you think we should do with it?
Oh wow, nice work. I think it's clear, don't you?
I agree. You should take it. You'll be the biggest squirrel the world has ever seen.
Well, I'm sure everyone would want to see that. You know it has to be you. Everything you have done has led you to this moment. You were made to save the city.
Well, I can certainly try my best. I wish we knew more about this, though. So many animals had to die for this to be made.
And so many more animals and people will die if the mayor isn't stopped. They'd want their sacrifice to be for someone who would save others, not hurt them.
I nodded. Sandy always knew just what to say.
And here, I managed to catch something that will help you.
Sandy tossed out several enchanted books. These will be perfect. Thanks, Sandy. I grabbed the books and headed over to the anvil. By using all of the books, I was able to give my weapons and armor some impressive upgrades. I couldn't have been more powered up. It's time to end this. On days 97 to 98, Sandy and I swam back up to the shore near our base. This is it, the final battle. If I don't win here, that's it for me. If you've been enjoying the journey so far, let me know by giving me a like and a sub. I promise to always fight my hardest to win. With that said, Sandy and I headed in the direction of the city. The mayor wasn't going to see this coming. On day 99, we ran up to the outskirts of the city. In the distance, we could see the mayor standing amongst the buildings. So much destruction. I can see now that the mayor has lost control of his own mind. Seeing him like that scared me. Is that going to happen to me too?
Do you remember what happened when you were fighting the scientist? The power of our friendship pulled me out of the mind control. This is the same tech. I won't let anything happen to you.
I trust you, Sandy. Let's finish what we started. I moved into the city and got as close as I could get to the mayor without putting myself in danger. Hey, mayor! Why don't you pick on someone your own size? The mayor turned to look at me. I pulled out the secret weapon and activated it. There was a flash of light and I started to grow. It felt strange, but I could feel the power coursing through me. I couldn't help but feel like this was part of my destiny all along.
How is this possible? That scientist, he betrayed me.
I waited for the madness to take over, but nothing happened. Just then, it clicked. The scientist needed my power to stabilize the mind of the weapon's user, but since I was the user, all it did was power me up. Your reign of terror is over. The people of this city deserve better. The mayor and I charged at each other, exchanging blows. The mayor was strong, but with my new power, I had never felt better.
You think this makes you special? You can't save anyone. You couldn't save the scientist, let alone an entire city.
His words hurt, but I knew the scientist would have wanted me to stop this mayor. If not for you, no one would have needed to be saved. No one would have ever gotten hurt. The scientist saw you for who you really were, a fraud. This made the mayor even more mad, and he unleashed a flurry of attacks, which nearly took down all of my health. I had to finish this. I took one big final breath and unleashed the most powerful fire blast I had ever created.
No!
The mayor crumbled to the ground and disappeared. I rushed back over to Sandy.
Zozo, you did it. Let's go home.
On day 100, we returned back to the base. I was too big to fit in the base, but Sandy said she was going to keep living there anyway. I had gotten used to living in the water, so I swam back down into the sea. If the people of the city ever needed me again, they'd know just where to find me. On day 1, I spawned in as Iron Man. And look, I'm not a baby. I'm all powered up. I flew around firing lasers. This was really cool. These zombies have met their match. Time to say goodbye. I blasted the zombies out of the way. They were no match for the might of Iron Man. Once they were all destroyed, I was floating over the forest, scanning the area. Suddenly, something hit me out of nowhere. What was that? I didn't see who it was, but I heard a voice.
Say goodbye to your power.
I had hit the ground, but managed to survive. But look, now I only have 5 hearts. I had to hurry and leave the area though. Whoever that was could come back. Later, as I was escaping through the forest, a group of zombies came running up to me. I know how to handle these guys, but that was when I had my suit and powers. I didn't stand a chance now. I had no choice but to run away. I can't
believe someone caught me off guard. They better watch out, because I'll stop at nothing to get my power back. But that was another day, so I settled in for the night. On day 2, I woke up all alone, still feeling weak without my powers. I had to figure out who was out to get me. I've got quite the mission ahead of me. I'm going to be building and making all kinds of really cool things. But before I can do that, I need to start with the basics. I went outside and got right to work punching trees. With the wood I had collected, I then made a crafting table. Using the crafting table and my leftover wood, I made myself some wooden tools, including a sword. Time to find some lunch. I went outside and soon came across a rabbit. That's going to have to do for now. I chased it down and got its meat. I might be trapped in the wilderness with no powers, but that doesn't mean I have to eat raw meat. As I took a look around, I soon came across a village. In the middle of the village was a campfire. Let's get cooking. I laid down my rabbit meat and let it sizzle. Soon, I had some cooked meat. I took a bite and was feeling much better. Suddenly, I realized what kind of village it was. It was a pillager village. Uh-oh, time to run. Pillagers chased me, but I managed to get away without losing my life. Later that evening, I took the simple supplies I had collected to start making myself a house to stay in. If those pillagers found me, at least I would have some walls to protect me. Soon, the hut was complete, and I settled in for the night. On day 3, I awoke to a knock on the door. Who could that be? I opened the door and saw it was Captain America. Or well, I guess it was just Steve Rogers. He wasn't looking so good. Steve, what's wrong? You're not looking like your normal fit self.
I was worried something had happened to you. I see now I was right. Your friend Ironmonger is to blame for this. I was minding my own business when he suddenly came out of nowhere. I don't know how he did it, but he managed to take away all of my powers. We might not be strong enough to help him right now, but we need to hurry and warn the others he's coming for him.
That's a good point. Let's stick together while we figure this out. Steve agreed, and so we figured it would be good to start building a proper base. We did some scouting around and soon found a nice cliffside that would work perfect. I didn't have my powers, but I could still get shipments of stuff sent to me. After a bit, an express delivery with all the supplies we'd need showed up, and we got to work. Building a house on a cliff like this reminded me of my mansion in Malibu. It wasn't going to be quite like that, but I was hoping to eventually make something just as impressive. Soon, the beginning of our base was complete. Thanks for your help, Pete. We'll let you know if anything else comes up. On days 4 to 5, Steve came over to talk. He wanted to know if I knew where any other superheroes were. Sorry, buddy, I don't. I really wish I did, though.
Well, you're a pretty smart guy, right? Is there something you could invent?
I thought it was a good question, but nothing came to mind. I stared at my empty crafting table when suddenly I had an idea. Oh wait, maybe that could work. I headed out to the caves to gather the materials I would need. If I could just get everything I would need, this special item would be the perfect solution to our problem. By the time I had made it into the deepest part of the cave, I had already managed to make myself some iron gear. It was about to come in handy as I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of magma cubes. Alright, boxheads, you're just what I was looking for. I swung my sword and managed to take a few of them out. As they disappeared, they dropped some charged coal. Once the threat was taken care of, I also found some nearby palladium, which I happily mined up. Alright, that's everything I'm going to need. Let's make this special item. I soon arrived back at the house and got right to it, smelting down the palladium into ingots.
I also needed a compass, which Steve gave to me.
At long last, the final pieces were starting to come together. I went to the crafting table and used the palladium, charged coal, and compass to make my special item, a superhero radar. Sure hope this works. Steve and I headed into another room, and I set the radar down in the center. I placed a lever on the wall and flipped it. The radar started to make a sound, and a purple line came out of it. That line is pointing us to a nearby superhero. Now we can help them. On day 6 to 8, I checked the radar again to get a clear direction of where to go. I told Steve to hang back at the base and keep an eye on the radar, just in case anyone else popped up on it. Let's go see who it's gonna be. I left the base and ran off in the direction the radar had indicated. Hopefully I could get to them in time. After a bit of traveling, I soon reached a village, but it looked like the place was abandoned. Hello? Is there anyone here?
Thought it was you stomping around.
Black Widow had come out of nowhere. Natasha, I can't believe I found you. There's no time to explain, but I need you to come with me.
Listen, I don't trust anyone that much, even you. You're gonna have to give me some kind of explanation.
Okay, Steve is back at my base, and you see neither of us have our powers anymore, so we've gotta hurry to get out of here, or the same will happen to you.
Don't have your powers? Who or what did that to you?
Ironmonger! It was an answer to her question, but also an exclamation. He had popped up out of nowhere. Black Widow had sprung into action, trying to fight him off. I was still too weak though, and had to run away. Hang in there, Natasha. They continued to fight, but it was no use. Ironmonger was too quick, and managed to hit her with a special gun. He had taken away all of her special abilities.
Huh. I don't know what you two are up to, but knock it off. Go live normal lives like the ordinary people you are.
Before he could do us any more harm, we ran away. I couldn't believe he was able to do it again. On days 9 to 10, Black Widow and I arrived back at the base. We met up with Steve.
Natasha, it's good to see you. Wait, did something happen?
It was Ironmonger. I had gotten there in time, but he showed up and was able to steal her power.
Oh no, did you see where he went?
No, we had to get out of there. I hate this feeling. I've never felt so useless.
It's okay. Keep your head on straight.
I need some time to clear my head. I decided to get to work, building Natasha her own place to stay at the base. It was good to have a project to keep my mind busy. I couldn't believe I was beaten by my own friend. Soon, Natasha's room was complete. On days 11 to 12, I went to check the machine and saw there was a new signal, but this time it was different.
What is it? What does it mean?
Not 100% sure. It's a new invention that even I don't understand completely.
Well, if it's pointing to a friendly, it's worth a shot trying to save him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure, Cap. What good are we as rescuers if we can't really rescue someone? Ironmonger is just going to show up again.
You don't know that. And come on, you know there's more to this than just being the strongest.
That's certainly something coming from you. I'll see what I can find. I left the base and headed in the direction the radar was pointing. As I looked around, I felt like I wasn't seeing anything. That's when I realized I was back at the place I'd crashed on day 1. Suddenly, I noticed something nearby on the ground. I picked it up. Jarvis, is that you? What are you doing out here, buddy?
Hello, sir. I'm delighted to see you have found me.
So am I. How are you?
I am here, but I am damaged. I am sorry for the loss you have suffered.
So am I, buddy. But hey, do you think you can help? You've got all that information from my suit stored in your memory, don't you?
I do. Or rather, I believe I do. My memory banks have been damaged, but it seems plausible they can be recovered. We will need to find the correct materials in order to recover it.
Sure, we can do that. I built a suit once. I can surely do it again. What's on that materials list of yours? Jarvis gave me the list of what I needed, and I headed off right away. On days 13 to 15, I arrived at some caves and headed on in to gather up the materials Jarvis had mentioned. First, I gathered up a bunch of iron, which was one of the main things I would need. Then I found some titanium, which was also going to come in handy. Alright, that should be everything I need from here. I then left the cave and found myself in a herd of cows. I took some of the cows out in order to get some leather. That was all the ingredients I was going to need. Time to get back to the base. On days 16 to 19, I made it back to the base and went into my garage. It was crafting time. I put the iron in the furnace and started smelting iron ingots. Then it was titanium's turn, which started smelting into titanium ingots. While the ores were smelting, I then opened a nearby chest and grabbed some glass I had. Then at the crafting table, I added the glass to some iron and palladium to make myself a new arc reactor. At last, power! With my new palladium arc reactor, I could start to put together a new suit. I grabbed the ingots I needed out of the furnace, then used iron, titanium, leather, and the arc reactor to make myself a chest plate. Oh yeah, here we go. With the chest plate finished, I then used the rest of my materials and made the leggings, boots, and of course, the helmet. This isn't the best suit I've ever made. In fact, it's just as good as the first one I built in a cave in the desert, but it'll be better than having nothing.
Hey, what have we got here?
Steve and Natasha had walked into the garage.
You built a new suit. It's gonna be so good for you. How did you pull it off?
It was with the help of Jarvis. I found him at the crash site. His memory is damaged, but he remembered enough to help me build this suit.
Think that's a good idea?
Do you think it's not?
No, it's great. It's just that you said Jarvis was damaged. I'd hate to see something go wrong.
I assured him that Jarvis was working well enough to help me make the suits again without putting any of us in danger. That seemed like an excuse though. Steve was probably just jealous I was getting my powers back and he wasn't. Before I could say anything else though, Natasha mentioned that she and Steve had gotten more food and stored it in the kitchen. All that crafting had made me hungry. I went over there to cook up some steak. This is going to be much better than wild rabbit, that's for sure. When the steak was ready, I scarfed it down. Delicious! I then went and started to make some more upgrades to the base. I was a man of luxury, so I decided the house needed a swimming pool. I picked a good spot and got the thing installed. All this building has given me an idea for one more big project. I headed out and got to work building a statue. These were dark times, and there was always one thing that could be a light in the darkness. Let me know what you think I'm building. Soon, the first part was complete. On days 20 to 22, I heard a notification go off on the radar, telling me another superhero had been found. I went and told Steve and Natasha the good news. They both wanted to come with to find who it was, but I told them it might be good for just me to go, given that I was the only one who had regained any of my power. As I put my suit on, I saw my health increase to 8 hearts. I was also stronger and had a flamethrower attack. It was time to help our fellow superhero. As I got closer to the place the radar was pointing me to, I saw a large tower in the middle of the forest. I knew just who I would find inside. As I reached the top, I could see Dr. Strange was there. Steven, be on your guard. Ironmonger is running around stealing everyone's power.
What?
He immediately got ready to fight. It was just in time too, as Ironmonger came flying over, firing down on us.
The good doctor. I think you've got just what I'm looking for.
Dr. Strange was ready though, and he started to put up a good fight. Ironmonger was going to have a much harder fight this time. I may have spoke too soon though, as Ironmonger managed to land a hard hit, knocking out Dr. Strange. Ironmonger lifted his weapon and started draining Dr. Strange's power. I had to do something. Oh no you don't. Even though I wasn't super strong, I charged in and managed to stop Ironmonger from taking all the power. Problem was, he was now focused on me. Dr. Strange was back in the fight though, and together we put up a good fight. In the end, we managed to hurt Ironmonger enough that he backed down.
This isn't the last you've seen of me.
He flew off. Steven, are you okay?
I still have some of my powers, but I'm definitely weaker than before. I need to go rest.
Dr. Strange opened a portal and walked through it. Well, that was a quick exit, but at least we could stop him from losing everything. I better get back to the base and see who else we can help. On days 23 to 26, I was on my way back to the base when Jarvis piped up with some helpful information.
Sir, my sensors are indicating a lot of silver
nearby. I think that could help.
Jarvis then told me what direction to go, and I headed there right away. As I arrived at the location he was sending me to, I didn't see anything. Are you sure this is the right place? There doesn't seem to be anything here.
The silver may be beneath something, but I am 99% sure it is here.
Well, guess I better start breaking blocks. I started breaking things as I looked around and soon saw an entrance to a dungeon. What is this all about? As I went deeper into the dungeon, I ran into a bunch of piglins. You piggies better watch out. That's when I noticed that they had all kinds of material stored down here. I hope you guys don't mind if I use some of this stuff. As I fought my way through the gang of piglins, I noticed that they dropped silver ingots.
There, sir. The silver I was detecting.
I happily picked the silver up and continued to fight the piglins. There were hoglins around as well, and they were a tough challenge. But I was up for the fight and soon made it to the dungeon's boss, a piglin brute with armor. You look strong, but I'm stronger. It turned out I was right. The piglin brute was really strong after all. He knocked me back, but I stayed in the fight. He wasn't going to get the better of me. After a long fight, I finally took him out. He didn't drop anything. But look, a chest. I went over to the chest, which was filled with silver. This should be more than enough. I hurried back out of the cave. On days 27 to 31, I arrived back at my base. I met back up with the team to tell them the good news. Guys, I was able to find Dr. Strange, and together we were able to fight off Ironmonger. Dr. Strange was weakened, but he was able to keep his powers. Everyone was really excited to hear the good news and couldn't believe Ironmonger had shown up again. Everyone, that is, except Steve.
He kept his powers, huh? Well, good for him, I guess.
I didn't know why Steve wasn't excited like everyone else. He really must be jealous someone else got to keep their powers. I left the room and went to work on a new set of armor. With all the new silver I'd collected, I was going to be able to build an even better suit. I took my time making each set, and soon I had a full set of Iron Man Mark II armor. Oh yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. With my new suit on, I noticed I had more health than before. I still couldn't fly yet, but I could jump a little higher and felt stronger too. I showed it off to the gang, and everyone was really impressed. If I kept finding more materials, I would be back to full strength in no time. I had to find more materials. On days 32 to 35, I decided to see what else Jarvis could find for me. I'm thinking of adding some more weapons to the suit. What do you think it can handle?
Scans show it is not strong enough to handle your repulsor cannon, but there is something else that might work. We'll have to travel far away, but I believe it will be worth it.
Show me the way. Jarvis explained the way to go, and eventually we made it to an entirely new biome. All right, Jarvis, what direction?
Down, sir.
It looked like it was time to dig. I think I knew what he had in mind. I kept digging and digging and soon made it into a magma chamber. Let me guess, we need some lava.
No, sir. We're searching for a very specific mob. It should be here.
I started to explore. Could you tell me what I'm looking for? Just then, I almost ran into a monster. It was a mutant blaze. Yikes, thanks for the warning.
Sorry, sir, but my sensors aren't quite as sharp down here.
The mutant blaze's fire attacks were strong, but my new armor was doing its job. I was taking much less damage than I normally would have. I'm gonna put you out, Firehead. I kept on swinging and at long last defeated the blaze. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a blaze core.
The blaze core, that is just what we need, sir.
On days 36 to 39, I made it out of the hole and headed back towards the base. As I arrived back at the base, I went to the crafting area and got right to work on the new suit attachment. Using the blaze core, I was able to make myself a flamethrower. Oh yeah, I'm starting to heat up now. I called the others over and showed them my new toy.
Whoa, that new flamethrower is so hot right now.
Natasha was really excited about it, but Steve, less so. No surprise there, he was just jealous. On days 40 to 43, I heard the power detector going off again. It must have found another superhero. Maybe with my new gear, I can even defeat Ironmonger this time. I let the others know that I would head out by myself again. Until they could get their powers, it just didn't make sense to put them in harm's way. I would handle everything. I set off in search of the superhero, and soon found myself in a thick forest. Hello, is there anyone around here? I kept shouting and looking around, but couldn't find anyone. All I saw were a bunch of bats flying around. Suddenly, they attacked me. What the? Get away from me! Using my new attacks, I managed to fight off the bats, but then I was attacked by some wolves. This forest is crazy! What's going on around here? The wolves snapped their teeth and swung their claws, but I was able to keep them away and knock them out. I still don't see anyone, but it's starting to get late. I better build a shelter for the night. I soon found a nice clearing and got right to work building a shelter. After a bit, my camp was set up. Time to get some sleep. I'll keep looking in the morning. On days 44 to 49, I woke up in the middle of the night to a rumbling sound. What was that? I ran outside and saw there was a huge castle that had appeared out of nowhere. Well, nothing else to do but take a look. I ran into the castle and was suddenly attacked by a whole bunch of spooky mobs. There were bats and all kinds of skeleton creatures. I had to fight for my life. Back off, you undead creatures. You'll never take me alive. I kept fighting my way through the castle until finally I saw something different than the mobs. It was Blade. Blade, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? I've tracked a vampire to this castle and I'm so close to finally beating him.
I've come to warn you. Ironmonger is going around stealing power from superheroes. You've got to get out of here.
Thanks for the warning, but I've come too far to quit. I don't see Ironmonger anywhere, so I think I have time to finish my mission.
Well, let me help. Together we can get it done even faster. We soon noticed a coffin and walked up to it to take a look. We opened it, but it was a trap.
Oh no, what is this? I can't move.
Me either. Jarvis, clear this gas out of my suit. Jarvis got right to work, but he wasn't quick enough. Ironmonger had shown up.
Huh, stay still. This won't hurt at all.
Ironmonger used a special item and was able to take away Blade's powers. Jarvis had just cleared the gas from my suit though, and I was ready to fight.
I thought I told you to keep out of this.
Ironmonger didn't stick around to fight me, but instead released the vampire before flying away. Without his powers, Blade was in for a real fight. Come on, Blade, I'll help you. Blade and I got to work swinging at the vampire. Even without his powers, Blade was a good fighter, getting lots of hits in. He wasn't good enough though, and the vampire was able to really hurt him. You'll pay for that! I started attacking him even more than before and could tell I was starting to win. When he was at his weakest, Blade jumped forward and knocked him out with a stake for good.
Thanks for your help. I couldn't have done this without you. Here, take this stake. You never know when it could come in handy.
Thanks. I'll be sure to keep it close. I'm sorry about your powers. How about you come back to my base with me and we can figure this out?
That sounds like just what I need right now.
On days 50 to 53, Blade and I returned to the base. Then we met up with Natasha and told her what had happened.
I'm sorry to hear it didn't work out this time. It sounds like he's getting smarter.
I'm sorry too. But hey, where's Steve?
Oh, he said he had some errands to run and left. He didn't tell me what those errands were.
That's odd. Just then, Steve came back to the base.
Sorry about that. I was just collecting some more materials to upgrade the base. I thought you could use some new materials for our new guest.
That was a fair point. He was right, too. Blade needed a place to stay. Using some of the materials Steve had gathered, I was able to put together a room for Blade. Steve had also mentioned wanting a training room, so I got to work on that. Just because they had lost their powers didn't mean they couldn't stay in shape. Soon, everything was complete. On days 54 to 57, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I decided I needed to talk to Natasha in private. Hey, I wanted to ask, has Steve been acting strange to you?
Now that you mention it, he has. I haven't seen him do anything strange specifically, but he doesn't seem like he's been his normal self. I usually try and let people just do their own thing.
You see, the thing is, Ironmonger always seems to show up right around the same time I do. I'm not saying Steve is somehow tipping him off, but I want to be sure he's not involved.
Say no more. The next time you guys go, I'll keep an eye on him. That would be strange, but we'll feel better if we can rule it out.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate it. I then reached out to Jarvis to help with the next stage of rigging up the superpower detector. If Steve was really tricking us, I needed to get the super detector to trick him. Jarvis said he knew what I needed to get, but there were some special items I needed to collect first. Let's get exploring. On days 58 to 62, Jarvis led me to a cave that was filled with spiders. I was pretty strong at this point, and these spiders were no match for me. I easily knocked them out of the way. Aha! There's the gold ore you wanted me to get. I quickly mined up all the gold I needed, then hurried back to the base. There, I crafted some special wiring out of gold and took it to the superpower detector. After I attached the new wiring, the detector started to go off. Everyone came running into the room. The detector found another super. Hang tight, guys. I'll go get them and help them out. Everyone agreed, and as I went to leave, I gave Natasha a nod to let her know the plan was on. She nodded back. I soon reached a mountaintop where the detector was pointing me to. Of course, no one was here, but I needed to put on a good show. Oh, hey Thor, I can't believe you're here. Just then, Ironmonger popped out.
Aha! Huh?
I was ready for him and gave him a good hit.
What the? There's no Thor here. I can't believe I've been betrayed and tricked like this.
What do you mean betrayed? How did you know I would be here?
I've said too much.
Ironmonger flew away. Something was definitely going on. I hurried back to the base. As I arrived, I could see Natasha was waiting for me.
You're not gonna believe this.
What happened?
After you left, I followed Steve just like you asked. Once he had gotten far enough away from the base, I saw him pull out a communication device. I got close enough to hear who he was talking to. It was Ironmonger.
You're right, I can't believe this. We've got to confront him right away. On days 63 to 66, I headed into the base to find Steve. I soon found him.
Hey, you weren't gone for very long. Did you find anyone?
There was no one there, but you probably already knew that.
What do you mean? How could I have known that?
Because you've been in contact with your friend, Ironmonger. Give it up, Steve. We know.
You don't know anything.
Just then, Steve started to transform. Suddenly, Steve was gone, and Mandarin was standing there. Mandarin! So it's been you all along. I should have known it was someone evil trying to trick us.
Well, you just aren't very smart, are you? You've been leading us to superheroes this entire time.
What do you want with us?
I've been absorbing all of the powers. Soon, you'll be unable to stop me. I was hoping I could wait for you to build another super suit so I could steal its powers too, but no matter. You'd never stop me.
I leapt forward to attack him, but he was right. He was really strong. He knocked me out of the way and was able to escape. He wasn't fully powered up yet, but if he was this strong already, we were going to be in real trouble. On day 67 to 70, I went to talk to Natasha and Blade. I couldn't believe I had been tricked. I apologized to them for leading Mandarin right to them.
Don't worry about it. You were trying your best. Now that we know who we're really up against, we have a better chance of stopping him.
Thanks, Nat. I appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I appreciate all of you watching too. After this video, search for more Zozo. Z-O-Z-O.
Sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've managed to repair my memory banks and unlocked a new design for another part of the suit.
Oh, that's great news. What do we need to build it?
It looks like we'll be needing some diamonds, but I'm not detecting any on my scanner.
You need diamonds? I haven't seen any underground, but while I was tracking the vampire, I stayed in a village full of them. I'll tell you where to go.
Blade explained where the village was, and I set off to find it. I soon arrived and saw that Blade wasn't lying. There were diamonds everywhere here. The villagers had all kinds of diamond tools and armor. Hey there, nice armor. Do you guys have any extra diamonds you could spare?
I might have some, but I can't just give you them for free.
That's understandable. How much do they cost?
You know, we've had quite a bit of a problem here, and if you can solve that problem, I'll give you everything we can spare.
Sounds like it must be a pretty big problem then.
Yeah, there's a monster that has started living in our diamond mine, and we haven't been able to go in there for weeks. Take care of that monster for us, and we'll give you our spare diamonds.
Okay, I'll do it. Tell me where to go. On day 71 to 74, I arrived at the diamond mine, but the place looked abandoned. I guess the monster really cleared this place out. Better see what I can find. I went into the cave but didn't see any diamonds. I didn't see anything for that matter. The place was super dark. As I went deeper into the mine, I placed torches to help me see. The mine kept going deeper and deeper. I was starting to wonder if it would ever end. At long last, I reached what seemed to be the final room. There's nothing here. Maybe the monster left or something. Just then, I noticed that the torches I had placed along the wall were starting to go out. One by one, they broke, getting closer and closer to me. Suddenly, the vampire from before appeared. What? I thought we defeated you. The vampire smirked and then attacked. He was even stronger than before, and this time he had some tricks up his sleeve too. He burst into a ball of smoke, summoning a group of bats. What in the world? This is crazy! The vampire had disappeared. I had to defeat these bats. I ran around trying to cut down as many as I could. Suddenly, I felt a hit. The vampire had reappeared. Get out of here, Dracula! I still couldn't believe this guy was still around, but I guess it's true. Vampires can never really be defeated. That's when I remembered. The stake! The vampire was getting weak now, and it was time to finish him off. I grabbed my stake and hit him, finishing him off. He would be back eventually, but at least I could get my diamonds in the meantime. I hurried back into the village and met up with the villager. It's done! The monster is gone. Now let's see about those diamonds.
Amazing! You saved us! Here, you can have everything we have to spare.
The villager tossed out a single diamond. I gave him a look. I thought you said you were going to give me all the diamonds you have to spare.
I did. We only have one diamond to spare.
Jarvis piped up.
That should be all we need, sir.
Thanks. Well, here, you guys might need this. I tossed him the stake and headed off, back to the base. On day 75 to 78, I arrived back at the base. It was time to make what Jarvis had remembered. As I went to the crafting table, Jarvis told me what I needed to do to craft a new repulsor. It wasn't my full suit, but at least it was a stronger weapon than before. Just then, Natasha came into the room.
You've got your repulsor up and running? That's great.
Yeah, problem is, I don't know where to go to find Ironmonger or Mandarin.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When I heard Steve, or I guess Mandarin, talking to Ironmonger, I thought I could hear some machines in the background.
Blade came into the room.
Machines? There's a factory not too far from here. Maybe he's hiding out in there.
It's worth a shot. I'm not sure where else to look. They all agreed, and I decided that before I would leave, I would go ahead and finish the statue. It took a lot of hard work to get it done, but I soon had it all finished in no time. So what do you guys think? Did you guess what it was correctly? On days 79 to 84, I soon arrived at the factory Blade had told me about. I'm not sure if this is right, but we'll find out. As I got closer, I was suddenly attacked by a group of zombies. If there were zombies around here, there was a good chance Ironmonger or Mandarin were around too. I managed to fight through the wave, but avoided using my repulsor. In case Ironmonger was watching, I didn't want him to know I had it. Soon, all of the zombies were defeated. On days 85 to 89, I entered into the base. That's when I saw Ironmonger standing amongst a bunch of zombies trapped in cases of liquid. What are you doing?
I knew you would show up here eventually. I'm doing what needs to be done. You superheroes think you can just do whatever you want. Zombies can be controlled, so I'm taking your powers and giving them to them. Then I will control all the powers on Earth.
Oh, I see. You don't want to stop superpowers. You just want to be in charge of them yourself. I won't let you get away with this.
Huh. You've been trying to stop me this entire time and have never beat me. Today, I will finish you for good.
We'll see about that. Ironmonger flew up in the air as a door opened, letting zombies into the room. There were a ton of them. Uh-oh, I better take care of these first. I ran around the room trying to take out as many zombies as I could. This was a tough fight with so many things going on at once. I had to defeat Ironmonger though. My friends were going to need all of their powers back. Where is Mandarin hiding?
You'll never find him, because you'll never leave here.
Ironmonger and I were now fighting each other directly, and it was getting intense. He hadn't expected all of my upgrades though, and I was really hurting him.
How did you get so strong? I thought I took everything away from you.
A suit isn't a brain, and that's what's going to defeat you. I fired my repulsor at him and took him out for good. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped some unique parts, which I picked up.
Sir, we can use these materials to remake your strongest suit.
Yes, now we just need to find Mandarin and get everyone's powers back. Let's do this. On days 90 to 94, I made it back to the base. I ran right over to Natasha and Blade to tell them the good news. I was able to defeat Ironmonger. The bad news is that he was trying to inject zombies with your powers.
That's horrible. It's a good thing you beat him, though.
Speaking of, any way to get our powers back?
Before I left, I saw he had some kind of machine that must be storing your powers. If you guys go there, you may be able to get them back.
Right on. Thanks for all of your help.
You've got it. Now I've got to get to work returning to my final form. I rushed over to the garage as the others set off for the factory. Using the materials Ironmonger had dropped, I got to work building my final Mark III version of my armor. After a lot of hard work, my armor was restored. Yes, it's going to feel so good to fly again. I ran up the stairs of the house and over to a balcony. Here we go. I jumped off and nothing happened. I landed in the water below. Jarvis, what's going on?
Sorry, sir, but while your suit has been restored, the flying capabilities still need some repairs.
Don't you think you could have told me that before I jumped off the cliff?
My apologies, sir.
It's okay, no harm done. Now where do we need to go? On days 95 to 97, Jarvis instructed me that we would be heading to the Nether, so I got to work building a Nether portal. I hadn't been able to get a diamond pickaxe, so I had to get creative. By using lava and some water, I managed to fashion a Nether portal together. It took a bit to get it all done, but soon I had my own Nether portal ready to go. Alright, Jarvis, show me the way. I stepped into the portal and soon found myself in the Nether. This place always gives me the creeps. Let's make this quick. There was some quartz nearby, so I quickly ran over to it and mined it up. Luckily, that was all I needed, so with my pockets full, I jumped back into the portal. Back in the garage, I got right to work, crafting the flight module. It didn't take too long, and soon, it was all complete. I walked back towards the cliff, jumped off, and it worked. Yahoo! I'm a flying man once again. I took some time flying around, feeling good that I was finally powered up. Just then, Jarvis delivered some interesting news.
Sir, the superhero detector at the base is going off. The signals are off the charts.
I hurried back to the base and went into the detector room. The machine was going crazy. The signal is way too strong for it to be Natasha and Blade getting their powers back. Mandarin must be up to something. It was time to take him down. On day 98, I headed off in the direction the detector was pointing. Not too much later, I saw a giant base rising out of the ground. This has to be Mandarin's base. Just then, I was attacked by a bunch of zombies. Oh no, he must be trying to do the same thing Ironmonger was. I've got to get to him, and quick. I was so strong that I knocked the zombies out of the way, no problem. But there was still a lot of them. I also couldn't help but notice some of them were stronger than others. I had to hurry and get to the top. Out of the way, zombros. I kept firing my repulsor cannon until at long last, all of the zombies were defeated. I ran over to the stairs and started heading up to the top. As I got close, I passed a sign in the distance. Oh, subscribe! You should do that right now. And once this adventure is over, go look up some more of my other ones. Just search Zozo, Z-O-Z-O, to find them. On day 99, I reached the top of the tower and saw Mandarin floating in the sky. Wait, how are you floating?
Impressive, isn't it? You're too late. I've absorbed your friend's powers, and now you'll never be able to defeat me.
No, I don't believe it. I'm going to knock their powers out of you.
Bring it on, rich boy.
Mandarin started firing energy blasts at me, causing some big explosions. I returned fire, launching attacks with my repulsor cannon. I had to be careful though. Getting caught in those explosions really hurt.
The time of the superheroes is over, and the time of the supervillain has begun.
I managed to get a hit in with my repulsor, which stopped his monologue. But suddenly, a bunch of yellow smoke appeared, and Mandarin was gone. Where did he go?
Looking for me?
Mandarin reappeared, launching more energy blasts. He could teleport now. This wasn't looking good. I had started to fly around, but this was tough. I was hanging in there, but I didn't know how long I could last.
What's wrong? Am I too strong? Let me make this easier for you and finish this.
There was another plume of yellow smoke, and Mandarin copied himself. I was getting attacked from all sides. Oh no, he's too strong. I was taking out some of his clones, but there was no way I could keep this up. I finally took out the clones, but took a heavy hit. One more hit, and it was all done for me. I removed my mask.
I'm going to enjoy this. You have been a thorn in my side for too long.
Suddenly, a portal opened and all of my friends came running through, including Doctor Strange and Captain America.
Thought I ought to pay you back.
This guy stole my face. That's America's face, not his.
We were able to get our powers back.
All thanks to you. Now let's return the favor.
Well, aren't we all just one big happy family? Well, you're too late. I'm not just as strong as all of you. I'm stronger.
Mandarin cloned himself again, and we all started to fight. It was on now. He was still strong, but there was no way he could take us all down, because even though we might be equal in power, we had something he didn't. Friendship.
No, it can't be. How can I be losing?
We had defeated all of his clones and surrounded him in the center of the platform. Well, thanks for playing. Tell Ironmonger we say hello.
No!
I blasted him with my repulsor, destroying him for good. My friends and I all gathered together. Steve, I was wondering what had happened to you. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, the doctor here came and found me. By the time we met up with the other two, they had just gotten their powers. We came here right away.
Just in time, too. Suddenly, another portal opened and Hulk came through. Wait a second, this isn't where I was trying to go. Where's Abomination? Uh-oh, that Hulk sounds like me. Looks like me from another video somehow wound up here. Can you help him get back? After this video is over, go watch my Hulk video. On day 100, we had all arrived back at the base. The world was safe once again, and everyone had their powers. But we would stay vigilant and keep an eye out. You never know when trouble could strike again.
On day 1, I spawned as a baby Zoglin. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa! Great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh, look, there's a group of Zoglins. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight.
Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other Zoglins. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a Zoglin now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest, passing by a river. My thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little Zoglin. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall.
waterfall.
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, Llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now is a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. It left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these would be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. He was throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off!
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop! The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. Alright, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin, without a care. I am the horned enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left, and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village, and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop, and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned enderman's cronies around. Man, this enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the horned enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes and don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick, I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was, I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off, except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken, there was something else too. Oh, jackpot, so many resources, but most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. He left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of parrots. I'm sinking.
Quack, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks, we have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have the sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing, hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
Mark, no problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Quack, quack, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, fox. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Gold Winger over here. We made it back to the village and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
Our sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came out to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, Big Boo. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find this secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything, but let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations? Just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 42 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too, and wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom? Much room?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
You can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another Zoglin. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a Zoglin chained up to a log. The pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that Zoglin? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the Zoglin. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha. The Horned Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the Zoglin he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hogatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hogatha had joined us. Hogatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this Horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a Zoglin with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this Zoglin could be his undoing. I believe that Zoglin is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors. But I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find the Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, you won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny. And your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hogatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hogatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning. On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the Zoglin I summoned and then promptly lost.
I think you better explain some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the Horned Enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows. Well, it looked like it worked. Onward. I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you, but we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
The Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The horned Enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hagatha. They thought she was me. No, Hagatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the horned Enderman, Hagatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we add a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance later. On day 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident?
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hagatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hagatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong Zoglin, but Hagatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hagatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hagatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hagatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but 2 treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized Zoglin. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On day 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look!
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Were those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a Zoglin. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a Zoglin. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On day 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little, a few clouds came out, and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned Enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On day 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of Endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned Enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your base in.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the Enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Agatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava-hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the Zoglin family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a Zoglin, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again, for good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the
the nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the Hoglins needed. On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flim Flam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and outpoured all sorts of undeads. Drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The Zoglins attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard, but still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the horned enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The horned enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think this is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side.
For Smithers!
Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The horned enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my Zoglin years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the Zoglin wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud. On day 1, I spawned in as Vegeta. Tremble before the prince of all Saiyans. What? Only 5 hearts? That doesn't make sense. Isn't he supposed to be super powerful? I guess I'm gonna have to do some serious training if I want to live up to the real Vegeta's reputation. Where's an old martial master when you need him? Is that one over there? He looks like he might know some wisdom. It's me, Zozo. I'm looking for someone to train me. Are you worthy to train a Saiyan?
No, I am not worthy to train a Saiyan, but I am worthy to capture one and make him fight to his doom.
This is no martial arts master. He's a wicked wizard, and he's attacking me with magic.
You're mine, Zozo. I've captured warriors far more capable than you.
Not today, wizard. Nowhere to run. I've got to jump off this cliff to get away. Hopefully I can fly. Vegeta can fly in the show, so why not? Here goes everything. Uh-oh, I can't fly yet. I'm falling. I guess Vegeta doesn't take fall damage. Must be the ability I start with. It'll probably upgrade to flying later. That wizard said something about capturing Saiyans. Maybe he has some of my friends, or even Goku. But Goku isn't Vegeta's friend. He's more like a rival. Every tough guy needs a good rival, and I guess for now I'll have to settle for that wizard guy. I'll rest at the bottom of this cliff until morning. On day 2, I start punching trees and rocks, and get the supplies to make my wooden pickaxe. I think I'll build my base somewhere away from this cliff, since I don't want to run into the wizard again before I've gotten stronger. I'll need wide open spaces to fire my ki blast, so this rocky desert will do nicely. There are some nasty coyotes here, but I'm a Saiyan. I can beat a few coyotes barehanded. Confusing me for just another helpless villager, the coyotes attacked, but I was ready. It looks like I have some buffs to my punching damage, probably from being a martial artist. That'll come in handy. Get out of here, coyotes. This is my turf.
Okay, we're going. You don't need to be such a jerk about it.
You should have known who you were messing with. With my pickaxe, I start mining for sandstone. That will be the main material that I use when making my base, at least until I can go underground and get some more durable blocks. There are some cactus blocks here too, but I don't have any armor or weapons, so I'm just gonna leave them alone for now. If I decide later that I want green dye, then I'll be sure to start farming those cactus blocks. I end the day by building a fence around where I want the base to be, and a tiny tent to sleep in. When it's done, this will be the perfect gym to train as a Super Saiyan warrior.
On day 3, I travel to a nearby forest to find some more wood for my fences. If there's a river I can redirect into the desert, that'll also be a good future project. Of course, I wouldn't be Vegeta if I wasn't also looking for a fight. Saiyans get stronger the more they battle tough enemies after all. That giant tarantula should make for a worthy opponent. Spiders give me the creeps, but Vegeta isn't afraid of anything. Let's go, tarantula. I started punching and doing some damage, but I was also losing too many hearts too quickly. Oh no, he's biting me. Gotta run. Didn't think a spider would be giving me so much trouble. But is it really fair that he has 6 more arms than me? While I was escaping from the tarantula, I found that there was an entire monkey caught in its web. Monkeys are like distant cousins to Saiyans, so of course I have to help him. I punch away the webs and set that monkey free. Be free, monkey. Oh, I guess he has something to say. What's up, new monkey friend?
Thank you for releasing me. My name is Stu, and I was chased here by an evil wizard.
I'm Zozo. I've seen that wizard too. Why was he after you?
He thought I was a Saiyan, so he tried to kidnap me.
Well, you're safe now. Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Sure, but only if you've got bananas. Stu the monkey is bananas about bananas.
On days 4 to 5, I made the fence surrounding my base bigger in order to make space to build a house for Stu. Full of bananas, obviously.
Yeah, baby. Stu loves bananas.
That should keep him entertained, while the real Saiyan focuses on important things, like getting so strong that I can totally send that wizard flying into space when I next see him. The problem is, a bigger base meant that I was much closer to the cactus blocks, and the cactoids were starting to become aggressive. And I don't have enough buckets of water to tame them off. Back off, you greedy cactoids! The fence can keep the little ones out, but when night comes, the local cactyrant is going to transform and attack me. Those guys are no joke, and they attack at night when the sun can't make me stronger. Or is it just Goku that powers up with the sun? Either way, those creepy cactus creatures have the advantage, unless I take my arsenal up a notch. I have until night falls to craft a weapon from the materials I've mined. Nobody wants to fight a cactyrant barehanded after all, damage buffs or not. There's plenty of stone around, so I use some stone blocks and a stick to make a stone sword and some tools. I wait until it gets dark, and then I go out and face the cactyrant. I defeat him using my new weapon. He drops boots of swiftness. Wow, that's unexpected. Now I can run around at high speeds with the best of them. Bet that evil wizard would never see this coming. Woohoo! If only I knew where I was going. On days 6 to 8, I'm deep in the desert gathering up sand to craft some pockets of sand. Vegeta doesn't always fight fair, so I want to be able to throw sand at my enemies, and I might need to, because here comes that evil wizard from earlier, and it looks like he's riding on a go-kart.
There you are, Saiyan. This time you won't get away.
You'll never capture the Prince of Saiyans. But the scary thing is, he actually might. No matter how fast I try to run with my boots of swiftness, it's like he's always catching up to me.
I told you there'd be no escape this time.
That vehicle is really fast, so I have to lead him to the cactus patch where he has to drive more carefully.
You think some puny cactuses will stop me, Zozo?
The plural is cacti, actually, Dark Wizard. Maybe you need to go back to school.
I'm evil. I don't have to get things right. I do things wrong on purpose.
He throws a spell at me from long range, and now I'm taking damage. I hide behind a tall cactus, then I throw a pocket of sand at him. Yes, it looks like that threw off his steering and made him stop the go-kart.
Well, I'm not going to drive when I can't see. That's just basic road safety.
The effect will wear off soon, so I'm going to get out of here. Thank goodness he doesn't know about my base. On days 9 to 10, I still don't know why that wizard wants to capture me. How can I be the Prince of all Saiyans when I'm afraid to fight the first guy I met in the world? Stu thinks I'm being too down on myself.
Don't worry, Zozo. You're doing a lot better than I could. You saved me from that spider, and I'm sure you'll save us both from that wizard too.
Well, maybe, but I think I should build a statue to get my mind off of things.
Get your mind off of things like being afraid you won't defeat the Dark Wizard forever and all time?
You're not helping me out, Stu.
Sorry. Stu does believe in you, though.
I think I'll build a statue of Vegeta's father, King Vegeta. That way I can show everyone who comes to my base how powerful the Saiyan people once were. It might encourage me too, who knows? But this won't be just any statue. The King of Saiyans needs a huge statue made out of strong material. I better start mining stone and gathering all the materials in my base. And who knows, maybe all this mining will help make me stronger too. It's good exercise. I'm also going to get a source of water in the base by redirecting a nearby river. My Saiyan fists are super strong, so these blocks are like nothing to me. I also made myself a bigger place to live and constructed a house out of sandstone. And now that I have more water in the base, I can start taming the nearby cactoids with buckets of it. You nerds work for me now. On days 11 to 12, a Viking villager arrived outside my base with a story to tell. He had apparently traveled a long way seeking my base.
You must be the Saiyan I've heard about. I am known as Charles, and my people are the Vikings. Days ago, I escaped from a terrible place where the Dark Wizard Baraka is making all the greatest warriors in the land fight until only one remains. He continues to gather the mightiest fighters he can find and pit them against each other.
Why is he doing that?
Who knows? Before it was my turn to fight, I ran away as fast as I could. Now I have come to you with a warning. Baraka will stop at nothing to capture you. With a true Saiyan in his collection, he'd be able to make the battles even more violent.
So that's where all the strong people are hiding? Interesting.
It's strange. There was another one like you there, except he wore robes of orange.
Wait, Goku is there? But he's my tough guy rival. No one gets to defeat him until I defeat him.
I guess you had better start training then.
For now, I'll still avoid getting captured, but it sounds like the wizard is holding a tournament for powerful fighters. I better hope I can qualify. In the meantime, how about we get you some water, Charles? You look exhausted after all that.
Thank you, Zozo. It seems you truly are the hero people say you are.
On days 13 to 15, I train non-stop to make myself even stronger, because that is what a Z-fighter does when push comes to shove. Cutting down some of the cactuses is great training for swordsmanship. I can't just rely on my fists if I want to win this thing. And I also can't let my opponent look down on the Prince of Saiyans, so I go back to that giant tarantula and challenge it to a rematch. This time, I'm armed and ready. Bring it on, you eight-legged freak. I start the fight by throwing a sand pocket, and then I run in, swinging my sword. I'm doing a lot more damage now, and my ki blast is also very helpful. Not so tough now, are you, Spidey? It tries to trap me in a web, but my sword can cut straight through like it's no problem. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. This spider is toast. Whoa, I feel like my power level is rising. This is gonna be good. I've become Super Saiyan, with 15 hearts and way stronger attacks. Tremble before me. I'm the legend that all of my enemies of the Saiyans fear. I know that Vegeta can still get a lot stronger than this, but the change in appearance shows I've made some real progress towards my goal. I'm going to prove that I'm the strongest warrior in the world. Even Goku won't be able to defeat me when I'm fully leveled up. On days 16 to 19, I dig deep into the mine in search of materials. If I can get my hands on some metal, I'll be able to have better gear to match my brand new Super Saiyan form. It feels good to be a legend. The way forward is infested with skeletons, so it looks like I'll have to take them down first. Out of my way, skeletons. You're all just jealous that you don't have muscles like Vegeta. I guess that really struck a nerve with the leader of the skeleton horde.
You think you can come in here and make fun of us, Zozo? We're working for the Dark Wizard, and he sent us here to capture you.
Well, tell him he should have sent better. Or don't, because I'm sending you back to oblivion. The skeletons that charged me directly were easy enough to deal with, but those archers were always a pain. It's a good thing that I have Ki Blast to return fire. No bones about it. You guys are done for. I take out the ones at close range and then mop up the rest. But it looks like their leader got away. He's probably going to tell the Dark Wizard that I'm a force to be reckoned with.
You haven't seen the last of me, Zozo. I'll be back.
Now it's time to give my armor an upgrade to full iron. While I'm at it, I'll craft an iron sword and iron pickaxe too. Iron everything. Oh, the irony. On days 20 to 22, I was surprised to see Charles the Viking return to the base. What's going on?
Be careful, Zozo. Baraka somehow found out where I was, and now he's followed me here to the base.
Get inside. I'll handle this. Charles went inside the base. I went to go face the Dark Wizard Baraka alone. He was waiting just outside. I'm ready for you this time, Dark Wizard. Show me what you've got.
Foolish Saiyan. You are light years away from being able to defeat me.
We'll see about that. I threw a sand pocket at Baraka to blind him, then followed up with a Ki Blast shot. To my surprise, he wasn't there. He was right behind me instead.
You've met the Viking, so you know why I'm here. You know about the battle to find out who's the strongest fighter in the world.
I swung my iron sword at him, but he avoided it.
Will you accept my challenge?
Oh, so now you're giving me the choice.
It's because you've grown a bit stronger, Zozo. If I fought you now, I couldn't go easy on you.
Is that right? I'm not afraid. Bring it on. I threw another pocket of sand at the Dark Wizard, and this time he was blinded. I followed up with a few powerful strikes from my sword. Yeah, I really got him.
That's enough. Don't make me destroy you, Saiyan.
The wizard summoned an explosive block of TNT. I ran for cover as it exploded. When I looked back over, he was gone. Was he really holding back, or just afraid of what the Prince of Saiyans could do? Either way, I would happily take him on again and find out. On days 23 to 26, I was finally able to start farming the cactoids and cactyrants for materials. And this is the fruit of my labor. No, not the prickly pears, even though they did drop a lot of those. Using the thorns that the cactyrant dropped, and with a little bit of crafting, I can make a thorn shooter. Looks like building a training center in the middle of the desert has its perks. This new thorn shooter will be my ranged weapon of choice. I don't know what kind of totally crazy warriors I'll be facing when, and if I take the Dark Wizard up on his challenge, but it'll be good to have some variety in my attack options.
Stu thinks that thorn shooter is really cool. I'm impressed.
Thanks, Stu. Let's go test out this weapon in the desert. Who knows? Maybe we'll even find some strong enemies to defeat. Me and Stu headed out to the desert and made a few targets out of sandstone. They'd be a perfect way to focus my shooting skills. Bam! Bam! Look at those targets go down. This thorn shooter is so powerful.
Hey, can Stu try that thorn shooter? I've got a score to settle with another monkey back in the forest.
Maybe I should keep it for now, Stu. I feel like things are about to get even crazier, and if you'd like to find more of my videos, you should like, subscribe, and type ZOZO in the search bar. It never fails. On days 27 to 31, I start to add some of the more durable material to the statue of King Vegeta. I want to make sure his armor is absolutely perfect. For the blue parts of the armor, I've got to get my hands on some diamonds. But that's a really rare material, so it looks like it's time to go underground. Stu, hold down the fort while I'm away.
You can count on Stu. It's not like I'll monkey around while you're away.
I venture down into the underground, farther than I've ever gone before, until I am greeted by the bright light of orange lava. Somewhere in these lava caves, I should be able to find a vein of diamond. It looks like a couple of magma cubes don't appreciate me trespassing down here. If the cactus blocks damage me when I touch them, there's no way these things don't. The last thing I want is to touch any kind of magma in a place like this. Gotta put my thorn shooter skills to the test and take them out at a distance. Magma cubes always split into smaller magma cubes when they take hits, so I won't keep moving until they are completely gone. My key blast area attack helps with that. Just past the area where I thought the magma cubes... Wait, where are the diamonds? Huh? No diamonds down here. Well, then I guess I'm gonna need to find another way to get the blue for the King Vegeta statue's armor. Wait, I have a plan. If I mix sand, gravel, and some blue dye together, I can make blue concrete blocks. That'll do just fine for now. On days 32 to 35, I felt tired from all the farming and training I did, so I couldn't access my Super Saiyan form. I'll have to rest soon, but for now, I received another visit from my old nemesis, the skeleton that ran away from me in the mines. Still working for the Dark Wizard, I see.
You're gonna get it now, Zozo. I brought the Desert Lord with me, and he doesn't take too kindly to some Saiyan wannabe building bases in his desert.
Well, too bad. I am the Prince of Saiyans, and I don't take orders from the likes of you guys.
Then I guess we'll have to fight you.
The Desert Lord ran at me. I won't lie, he was big, and I felt a little intimidated. Thankfully, I didn't have to fight him with my sword. I was prepared for a battle, and my thorn shooter had full ammunition. Eat my thorns, Desert Lord.
No way! You've got a thorn shooter. No fair. Let's mosey on out of here.
Cowards! The skeleton and the Desert Lord ran away. Hopefully they won't be back again. It looks like some of the other mobs have returned as well. The gang of coyotes are back. Didn't I already teach you guys a lesson?
We know, Zozo, you're very strong, but that's why we need your help.
You coyotes need my help?
Yes, our friend the tribal gremlin was taken by the Dark Wizard's second in command, the champion Colossus. He's holding him in his fortress until the Dark Wizard wants him to fight.
He took some gremlin before he got to me? I guess I'm going to have to see this for myself. Your friend is as good as rescued. On days 36 to 39, I set off to go save the tribal gremlin from the champion Colossus. Those coyotes are going to owe me one. Whoa, is that the champion Colossus's base up there on that hill? I really need to start expanding my base if I want it to look like that. He had a pair of iron golems guarding the gate, and there were gargoyles on the rooftop. I don't know what I was expecting from the Dark Wizard's henchmen, but this guy must be really serious. I can't just fight my way in there. I'd be totally outnumbered. I'm going to need a solid plan if I want to get in there and save the coyote's friend. I made my way around the entire mountain, searching for any less guarded areas that I can sneak into. On the far side of the fortress is a tunnel, but I'll still need to avoid those gargoyles that are flying around on patrol. I guess I'll have to use a frontiersman's cap to engage stealth mode. Sorry, raccoons, your sacrifice will not be soon forgotten. I'll need your tails to make the cap, and if I can use this to free the tribal gremlin, it'll all be worth it. But what if something even scarier is waiting for me down in the tunnel? Wait, I said earlier Vegeta isn't afraid of anything. I need to be courageous. The tribal gremlin and all the coyotes depend on me. Tomorrow, it's go time. On days 40 to 43, I'm sneaking through the fortress and avoiding detection from the mobs that the champion Colossus has been using to guard this place. I'm still not scared, obviously, but if they know I'm here, they might suspect the tribal gremlin of planning an escape and do something to hurt him. The coyotes would never let me live that one down. Using the thorn shooter, I can pick the mobs off from a distance without them ever knowing I was there. As long as I'm doing it one by one, of course. First, I take out a couple gargoyles. Then, I finish off the iron golem, guarding the entrance to the fortress's dungeon. I've got to be careful though, because even though these guards are nothing to worry about, the champion Colossus is somewhere in this place, and he has to be almost as strong as the Dark Wizard. After a whole lot of sneaking about, I find my way to the tribal gremlin cell. Hey, gremlin, up and at them! The coyotes sent me here to rescue you.
Oh, good. I was getting tired of waiting for a good fight. Let's get out of here.
You say that like you could have left at any time.
I've never slept in a fortress before. It was kinda cool, honestly.
Well, I'm building the ultimate training gym out in the desert. If you need a better place to crash, you should stay at my base. The tribal gremlin seems sure of himself. Either way, we make tracks and find our way back to the coyotes.
Thanks, Zozo.
On days 44 to 49, I continue crafting more blue concrete for the statue of King Vegeta. He is going to look so regal. It'll be the centerpiece of my base when it's finally finished, but a job this big requires the help of many friends. I had Stu gather fur from the forest that I could use to line the king statue's tail.
Stu can get you all the fur you need. Just don't ask whose it is.
Charles, on the other hand, went to the ocean for some lapis lazuli stone. That way I had 2 shades of blue to work with for the armor.
Blue is my favorite color. Vikings love the sea after all, and I'm no exception.
While everyone else is gathering materials for the statue, the tribal gremlin and the coyotes are building a sandstone wall around the perimeter of the base.
Does this look good, Zozo? Don't worry, guys. I think it looks great, no matter what anyone says.
I've got a few larger rooms for training and keeping spare weapons, and I also reused some of the materials from my fences to build a pen for the tamed cactoids. Stu also came back from his last trip with something I'd never seen before.
Hey, Zozo.
What is it, Stu?
I found a bunch of banana blocks in the forest and thought we could use them to make even more bananas.
This is your wildest idea yet, Stu. But I guess having enough bananas to go around never hurt anybody.
That's the spirit. Bananas to all, and to all a banana.
On days 50 to 53, the Dark Wizard finally reared his ugly head. And he wasn't alone. By his side were all of the henchmen I'd come to know and hate. The skeleton leader.
I told you I'd be back, and now I'm back. Again.
The Desert Lord. He doesn't say much. And most terrifying of all, the champion Colossus. He's probably pretty upset after I managed to sneak into his fortress and save the tribal gremlin.
I'm pretty upset that you managed to sneak into my fortress and save the tribal gremlin.
Told ya.
The time for your reckoning has come, Super Saiyan Zozo. I may have offered you a choice before, but now you have stolen 2 of my fighters away. That is unforgivable.
Well, have you thought that maybe those guys didn't want to be taken prisoner?
Intriguing. Now perish.
I felt my power rising, and once again, I turned back into my Super Saiyan form, ready for the fight. The Dark Wizard's forces attacked the base. Everyone did their best to repel the attack, but the champion Colossus was simply unstoppable. I couldn't worry about him now, because Skeleton and Desert Lord had closed into melee range and were looking to take me down.
Yeah, no match for us this time, Zozo.
I drew my iron sword and took out the Desert Lord without much difficulty. The skeleton was a lot tougher, but even he couldn't withstand the power of a Super Saiyan. Speaking of Super Saiyan, I felt my power level grow once again as I buffed up to Super Saiyan Blue. I've got 30 hearts and I can fly now. How do you like me now? I was so excited that I almost didn't notice that the Dark Wizard and the Champion Colossus were retreating, and they had taken Charles with them. Charles, no! On days 54 to 57, myself and the other NPCs in the base did our best to repair the walls and training room. Nothing could repair the loss of Charles the Viking though. We had to get our friend back. He didn't deserve to fight other warriors until the end, and he definitely didn't deserve to fight Goku before I got to. I went to the tribal gremlin, half wondering how he didn't get captured when he had already gotten taken beforehand. How can we get Charles back?
It's simple. We go and save him because we want to, and we succeed because we believe we can.
That doesn't sound like a real plan.
The true warrior does not need plans, only the will to triumph.
Okay, look, DG, I just need to know if you have any idea where this Tournament of Champions is being held.
Fine. The truest warriors know that there is a Colosseum deep in the Nether, where only the mightiest fighters have gone. I think Baraka has probably chosen that place as the location of his tournament.
Nether Colosseum. Got it. How do I get there?
The only functioning portal to the Nether in this world was inside of the Champion Colossus's fortress. After you broke in, they most likely destroyed it so you couldn't follow them.
Well, there has to be a second portal. Otherwise, how could they get back to the Nether with Charles?
Think of it this way, Zozo. You could scour the entire world for that second portal, or you could be a true warrior and build one yourself.
Well, I guess I do want to be a true warrior. Building a nether portal it is. On days 58 to 62, I finally found an underground cavern with some diamond veins. Jackpot! I know that lava caves can be dangerous, but they're perfect for finding diamonds and also the obsidian I need to make the outside of the portal. But of course, diamonds come first. I'll need a diamond pickaxe to mine those obsidian blocks, and full diamond gear wouldn't hurt either. In addition to the magma cubes from last time, there were a few other mobs deep inside the lava caves, like these fire elementals that really meant to do me harm. But now that I'm a Super Saiyan 2nd grade, my buffs to melee attacks without a weapon are through the roof. I can punch cactuses bare hand, magma cubes barehanded, and now even the fire elementals can be defeated with just punches. After I dealt with those mobs, I got back to mining, and before too long, I had all the diamond ore that I needed to make myself a diamond pickaxe. And since I'm here, I think a newly upgraded Super Saiyan deserves some super cool diamond armor and weapons to match. That's right, I'm now decked out in full diamond armor, and a diamond sword too. Next, I rerouted some of the water in my base into the lava caves, creating a field of obsidian blocks ripe for mining. I'll be ready to make that nether portal in no time. But there are a few last things I need to do before I can start my quest to finally defeat the Dark Wizard. On days 63 to 66, I take a break from building my portal to continue work on the statue of King Vegeta. Wow, it really is starting to look like him. I wonder what the real King Vegeta would say if he were to see us now.
This is King Vegeta saying, subscribe to Zozo for more cool adventures like this. For the sake of all Saiyans, you should hit the red button and then the bell.
On days 67 to 70, it's about time I went to the Nether and settled this. I craft a flint and steel out of materials I found in the caves. Then, I gathered my obsidian blocks and arranged them into the shape of a nether portal. I used the flint and steel to light the obsidian, and boom! The Nether awaits. Not too far from the other side of the portal was a giant coliseum over a huge lake of lava. Of course, it had to be close, since a Baraka was kidnapping warriors from nearby. But I never would have found it if I wasn't in the Nether. I guess me and the tribal gremlin are even now, since he gave me the hint about this place. Don't worry, Charles, I'm on my way. I made my way toward the Colosseum and found that it was guarded by a pair of zombie Spartans. No doubt the undead remains of warriors that had faced their demise in the Dark Wizard's arena. But they weren't going to stop me. Thorn Shooter, go! Blam, blam, blam! With a few whacks of my diamond sword, I knocked them down for good. On days 71 to 74, I stepped into the Colosseum, only to be surrounded by a cheering crowd of skeletons in the stands. The arena itself was empty, except for another fighter who was standing not so far away from me. He looked really tough, too.
Are you my next opponent?
I'm Zozo, and I've come to rescue my friend Charles the Viking.
I don't know who that is, but I have heard of you, Zozo. Long have I dreamed of fighting a Saiyan warrior.
There's no talking you out of this, huh?
Of course not. I am willing to fight any worthy opponent until the end, and that goes for you too.
The Aztec warrior ran towards me and attacked. He was strong, so I took some damage. I had to play this smart, so I flew into the air and shot him with the thorn shooter a couple of times. Then I landed behind him and hit him with a punch. I drew my diamond sword, and the two of us faced off.
You fight as well as the legends of your people suggest, Zozo.
I don't understand. Isn't Goku here? If you wanted to fight a Saiyan, why don't you fight him?
There is no Goku here. I would have remembered facing another Super Saiyan before you.
But Charles said there was a guy in an orange robe.
I did face such an adversary, but he was no Saiyan. If he was, I probably would have been defeated, like I have been defeated now.
And with that, the Aztec warrior fell. No more time for arena battles. I had to go find Charles. On days 75 to 78, I went to the barracks below the Colosseum and found Charles down there among the prisoners.
Zozo, thank goodness. I knew you'd come to rescue me.
Let's go home, Charles. I've done my share of fighting in this arena, and I say we don't give the Dark Wizard any more satisfaction. We ran backwards towards the arena, but as misfortune would have it, there was an ambush waiting for us. The champion Colossus stood ready to take us on. Well, take me on anyway. Did you think I was gonna have Charles fight this guy? Get behind me, Charles. It's time for Super Saiyan Blue Zozo to show the champion Colossus who the strongest fighter in the world is.
Strongest fighter in the world? Well, that would be me. This isn't the first tournament that the Dark Wizard of Baraka has held. I was the winner of the last one, and he let me go in return for becoming his eternal servant.
That's a sad story, but you're no match for me. I'm stronger than any warrior here. You can't beat me.
We shall see. On guard, Zozo the Saiyan.
The champion Colossus was definitely the strongest enemy I had fought up until this point, but there was no way I'd let him beat me. Too much was on the line. I reached for another pocket of sand, but I was out. Oh no! The champion Colossus hit me hard and sent me flying. Literally flying, because I can fly.
Is that all you've got, Zozo?
Leave Zozo alone, you big jerk!
Charles rushed in for a surprise attack, but it was all in vain. The champion Colossus hit him once, and he was struck down on the spot. Charles! I wouldn't let Charles throw his life away for nothing. I hit the champion Colossus with my diamond sword over and over until finally he collapsed. He was defeated.
Good job, Zozo. You avenged me.
Charles, you're gonna be fine.
I was destined for Valhalla the moment I was captured. You are a true warrior. It's always been you. Take care of yourself, Zozo.
And with that, Charles was gone. I made my way out of the arena and back towards my nether portal. On day 79 to 84, I was still in the nether when I heard the wicked laughter of the Dark Wizard of Baraka echo behind me.
I've finally done it!
What is it now? I turned and saw the Dark Wizard had grown to a massive size, and he was brimming with power. Holy moly, what happened to you? He cruelly stared down at me like I was an ant he was about to step on.
Now that all the greatest fighters in the world have perished in my arena, I, Dark Wizard of Baraka, have been able to absorb their martial arts and become master of magic and might. I am now the perfect being.
You're not perfect. You're not even close. You just stole the strength of a bunch of other people. You don't deserve to have their power, especially if you had to destroy them for it.
It is not for you to decide what I deserve. I have become a true warrior, and that means that all I need now is the will to triumph. Compared to that, what do you have, Saiyan, with that meager power you've gathered?
Maybe I'll never be the strongest, but at least I know who I am. I'm Zozo, a Super Saiyan, a Z-Fighter, and a truer warrior than you'll ever be.
You'll be nothing once I've destroyed you for good.
He stepped forward with the stolen power of all the fallen warriors. I knew I couldn't fight him just yet, so I turned and ran through my nether portal. As soon as I got to the other side, I used my diamond sword to break the portal, trapping the Dark Wizard in the netherworld. That should hold him for now. On days 85 to 89, I told the others at the base that Charles didn't make it back. They understood what it meant. He was in Valhalla and at peace. What mattered now was making sure that Baraka paid dearly for all the warriors he had sacrificed to gain his dark power.
Hey Zozo, Stu knows how bad you must feel about the rescue mission, so Stu decided to cheer you up by giving you a powerful new weapon. This will definitely help you defeat the Dark Wizard.
Stu gave me a banana bazooka, which was many times more powerful than my thorn shooter. This would be my new ranged weapon. Thanks, Stu.
Like Stu always says, bananas make everything better.
Later on, I completed the statue of King Vegeta, finally adding the diamond blocks he deserved to his armor. Nice! I had a feeling that the Dark Wizard would be on his way soon, so I went to seek the advice of the tribal gremlin. TG, I need your help.
The true warrior has finally arrived.
What?
I'm speaking about you, Zozo. You went down to that Colosseum and fought and returned. That means that you are now the strongest fighter in the world. You are the champion who must set things right.
What can I do? Baraka still has so much power.
You have power too. You just need to awaken it. There is a great waterfall behind the high cliffs. If you train there, you will be able to unlock your full potential.
On days 90 to 94, I followed the tribal gremlin's advice and sought out the great waterfall. The cliffs were really steep, so I had to use my flying abilities to climb up them. It's a good thing I still don't take any damage when I fall. Thinking back, this was the place I started my journey almost 100 days ago. It was remarkable to think how much I'd done in all that time. I had made friends, won battles, and even traveled to a whole different dimension. It was crazy. There were many waterfalls around this area, but somehow my spirit could tell which one would actually unlock my full potential. I trained my skills with both my sword and my punches, and I could feel myself growing stronger by the day. This is it. I'm going to become the true warrior I was always meant to be. At one point, a few giant lizards attacked me and tried to interrupt my training, but I saw this as another test of my power, and I fought them all off.
The banana bazooka that Stu gave me was an excellent weapon for dealing with enemies at a distance. Of course, my melee attacks worked just as well. I will be the one who defeats the Dark Wizard. Me, Zozo, I've got this. When I finally reached the last day of training, I knew that I was the most powerful that I had ever been. A magical halo appeared in my inventory when it was over, probably to show that I had achieved my potential. On days 95 to 97, I was at the base when the coyotes told me that they had found another portal to the Nether, deep in an emerald cave across the desert. It must have been the same portal that the Dark Wizard used to take Charles back to the Nether when the one in the fortress of the Colossus was destroyed. Without a doubt, the Dark Wizard would be using that portal to re-enter the world and wreak havoc. I wasn't about to let that happen though, and prepared to meet him there and settle our score. But first, I had to enchant my gear and put the finishing touches on my base. Using the diamonds and obsidian from the lava caves, I crafted a few enchanted books and gave my diamond armor the Thorns enchantment. It would sacrifice durability, but in exchange, those who hit me would suffer damage. By now, I had enough green dye from the cactus blocks that I was able to make a green carpet across all the floors of the inside of the building. There were now enough bananas and prickly pears to feed an entire village, and with the help of the tribal gremlin, I was able to plant a lovely garden in the shadow of the King Vegeta statue. This place was now the perfect gym for martial artists and warriors everywhere to come and train, and I'd make sure that the world would be safe enough for them to do so. On day 98, I got some last-minute training in with the tribal gremlin. As a fellow warrior, I respected everything he had done for me until now. I promise when I return, nobody will have to worry about the Dark Wizard ever again. Please cheer for me in the comments and let me know what character you want to see me play as next. Tomorrow would be the test of whether or not I was a true warrior, so I spent the rest of the day getting ready. It was almost time for the final battle. On day 99, I was in the Emerald Cave, standing in front of the Nether portal, when the Dark Wizard finally stepped through.
Zozo, this is a surprise. You ran from me last time.
Never again. I'm going to stop you right here. If you don't want to fight, then go back to the Nether and leave us alone.
What fun would that be? I need to be on this side of the portal, where weaklings like you live.
That's where you're wrong, Abraka. I'm no weakling. I'm a true warrior, and I use my power to protect people. You will go no further. I fired the banana bazooka a few times to slow the Dark Wizard down. As he got closer, I drew my sword and attacked.
You think you could beat me in that form? Pathetic Saiyan.
His attacks were pretty strong, but my thorn enchantment did damage back to him.
Oh, clever trick, but it won't be enough.
Maybe you're right, Dark Wizard. But then again, this isn't even my final form. I started up the halo and allowed the power of my potential to flow through me. My spirit awakened one last time and gave me the power to become Ultra Ego Vegeta. 100 hearts, full power, here we go. I will not let you destroy this world. With my new Ultra Fists, I punched the Dark Wizard over and over. This is for Charles! The Dark Wizard tried to strike back, but in Ultra Ego mode, the more damage I take, the more damage my attacks dealt.
No, all my power, it's being used against me.
It's not your power, but this is mine. With one decisive blow, I punched the Dark Wizard into space dust. Sayonara! The battle was now over. On day 100, I found Stu training with the tribal gremlin in the gym to become a stronger fighter. I guess he really looks up to the Saiyans after all, and all that true warrior talk set a positive example. There's nothing wrong with having a martial arts student, but I guess I wasn't expecting I'd become the master at the end of my journey. I'll be on guard here at the base while I train Stu and anyone else who shows up, because after all, there will always be people like the Dark Wizard who misuse power. From here on out, I'm going to make sure that the power is in the hands of true warriors. On day 1, I spawned in as a fire spider. Oh cool, I got 8 legs and 4 hearts. But whoa, I'm not a regular spider, I'm a fire spider. That means I have to avoid water no matter what. I should probably look around. I started testing out my new abilities. I can jump high, run super fast, and climb up walls. Woohoo! Just as I was jumping from tree to tree, a swarm of tarantula hawks started to attack. Ah, where did you come from? Quickly, I jumped off of the tree and started running away. But these guys were fast. They even took out some of my hearts. Ouch, I need those! Realizing that I couldn't outrun these guys forever, I decided I needed to fight. I wonder if I have something that could help me fight these tarantula hawks. Just then, I looked into my inventory and saw I had an item, Web Shot. Throw at your enemies to attack or stun them. This should work. Quickly, I put this ability into effect and started throwing webs at the tarantula hawks. Whoa, this is awesome! I managed to bring down several of the tarantula hawks with my Web Shot until there was only one left. He quickly fled before I could take him down. Ha! And stay out, you flying fiend! I proceeded to look around a little more before I decided to call it a night. On day 2, I woke up hungry and decided to make my first web. I placed it in the tree and waited. Soon, I caught a fly. Tasty. Then I went and took a look around. I stumbled upon a hole in the ground and decided to check it out. Maybe I can find some more fire spiders here. Well, I couldn't find any more fire spiders. I managed to find some stone, but I couldn't mine it because it required tools. I better go get some resources. Just as I was about to leave, a bunch of badgers started to attack. Hey, what's the big deal? These guys were tough, but I managed to fling web shots at them and managed to defeat them. They dropped some loot in the process. I picked up a stone pickaxe and sword. Oh, these will come in handy. With the pickaxe, I mined the stone and even found some iron that I could use for later. Wow, this hole is great. After checking to make sure there were no more badgers, I decided to set up camp in the hole. After clearing out some space, I set up a little place for myself, and even started to build other houses, just in case some more spiders were to come. On day 3, I climbed out of the hole and started gathering wood from the surrounding trees. Just as I was about to bring down one of the trees, I heard a noise.
Hey, stop that down there!
Suddenly, a pigeon flew down from the top.
What do you think you are doing?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know anyone was living in this tree.
Well, there is. You can't just go around destroying everything you see like some kind of barbarian.
I didn't mean any harm, I promise. He sighed.
Just be careful next time.
Just as the pigeon was talking, a falcon came out of nowhere and started to attack.
Oh no, not this guy. You better run, little fire spider.
Instead, I used my web to attack the falcon and knock him out of the sky.
Oh, thank you so much. That falcon has been attacking me and my friends for a long time.
You're most welcome. I'm always looking for ways I can help. Why was he attacking you?
He is a servant of the Lizard King, the evil ruler who enslaves animals with fear.
Oh no, that's terrible. This Lizard King sounds like he's a real handful to deal with.
My name is Percy, and I would be happy to help you with anything you need.
Thank you, I could use help. You know, I have a place that you and your friends can stay to keep away from falcons. It's underground and I'm still building it. Would you like to come?
Most of the time, pigeons don't like living underground, but that sounds like the safe idea.
On days 4 and 5, I helped Percy put together some houses for him and his friends.
This place is going to look great, Zozo. A safe haven away from the Lizard King.
You're right. I'm gonna have to see if I can get more critters out of danger. I also don't know where any fire spiders are.
Well, in the meantime, I will stay here and continue working. Before you go, I wanted to give you this.
Percy gave me some iron armor and a sword, made from the iron I had found earlier.
I thought it best for your journey. Take care, my fiery spider friend.
Thanks, Percy. I will return. Soon I was off to find the Lizard King, when all of a sudden, the tarantula hawk I fought on the first day returned with even more of his friends.
We shall have our revenge on you.
They all started swarming me with their stingers. Ouch, leave me alone! With the new sword, I managed to defeat most of the tarantula hawks, but the main tarantula hawk was heading right for me.
I will defeat you and take you to the Lizard King myself.
He was tougher to beat than the other tarantula hawks. I even took some damage from him. You may be strong, but I won't be defeated. Dodging his blows with my speed and jumping ability, I kept on striking him until at last he was defeated. As he disappeared, he dropped some bronze armor as well as a beaker of poison. If I'm going to come in contact with any more of the Lizard King's minions, I'm gonna need this. On days 6 through 8, I continued my journey to find the Lizard King. Along the way, I managed to find a village. Hello, anyone here? I went through all the buildings, gathering supplies where I could find them, but could not find anyone. How could an entire village just vanish like this? I started hearing what sounded like voices from one of the center buildings. Maybe there are some villagers still here. After following the voices, I discovered who was in the building. It was the Lizard King. He had on a huge crown and had big red eyes. Yikes, those are gonna haunt my nightmares. Gathering up what courage I had, I charged towards the Lizard King. Hey, why are you being so cruel to all the creatures of this land? They just want to live peaceful lives, free from bullies like you. The Lizard King looked at me with those red eyes.
The tiny fire spider who defeated my tarantula hawks. You will pay for your actions. Attack!
Then all of a sudden, the floor started shaking, and from out of the ground spawned a giant desert centipede. Uh-oh, this could be bad. The centipede was strong, it had over 20 hearts, and it was quick. It's a good thing I can jump and climb, or this thing would surely take me out. Then I remembered I had the beaker of poison, and prepared to use it on the centipede. Just as I was about to use it, the centipede attacked and knocked the beaker out of my hand, shattering on the floor. Oh no! The centipede grabbed onto me, shaking me around with its mandibles, and shaking the hearts out of me. This is not good. Just as I was about to lose my last heart, the Lizard King commanded he let me go.
That's enough. I still need subjects to rule. You really thought you could defeat me? Ha! Come back again when you are worthy.
That fight did a lot of damage to me, and all of a sudden, I blacked out. On days 9 and 10, I awoke to a different location, It looked like one of the houses in the village, only it was really damaged and there were webs on the walls. Ah, spiders! Oh, wait, I'm a spider too. I climbed around the damaged house to see if any more spiders were around. Hello? Any other spiders around here? Regular or fire type? Any will do. Or anyone? Preferably ones who don't want to squish me? I looked around a little more, and eventually I spotted what appeared to be a small, normal spider. Hey, where am I?
Oh good, you're awake. It's good to see you up.
Where's the Lizard King? Where's the centipede?
You fought the Lizard King and his centipede? It's a miracle you're still alive. When I found you, they were both gone. I was really worried you weren't going to wake up, but couldn't not help a spider in need. We brought you here to look after you.
We? Who's we?
Well, me and my brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters? There's more of you?
Oh yes, at least 700. We live in dark, shadowy areas near here, under the protection of Daddy Longlegs. Would you like to meet him?
Sure. Oh, and what's your name?
Marcy. I'm a jumping spider.
Indeed. Lead the way, Marcy. On days 11 to 12, Marcy led me to a secret passageway where we climbed down into a dark hall. Through the hall, we came upon the cave of Daddy Longlegs. It was surrounded by several different spiders of all different types and sizes.
Daddy Longlegs, here's the fire spider who fought the centipede. He is healed and wishes to meet with you.
Proceed, good spider.
I am Zozo, and I come to help fight against the evil of the Lizard King.
You are indeed brave, Zozo, but I am afraid the Lizard King cannot be defeated.
What do you mean? How can he not be defeated?
He controls the predators of the animal kingdom, forcing us spiders to live underground. Any attempt we have tried to fight against him, he takes out numbers of us. I'm afraid it's too risky for our survival.
I understand your concern, Daddy Longlegs, but we cannot keep living in fear. Someone has to do something. If nobody else will, then I will. But I know together we can do better, be stronger. Some of us might be squashed in a moment, but surely he can't stop all of us. Then I could hear Marcy cheering from the back.
Huzzah! Huzzah!
Her cheering led to all the other spiders starting to cheer as well. Huzzah! Daddy Longlegs looked convinced and agreed to help me.
All right, Zozo, you have made your point. I will send some spiders to help you on your journey. Perhaps we truly can defeat the Lizard King.
3 spiders volunteered to help me on my quest. First was Taylor, a massive tarantula.
Yeah, dude.
Then there was Bruno, an orb-weaving spider.
Do you need a web? I got a web. It's a nice web. Did I tell you about my web?
This guy really likes his web.
Yeah, man.
Finally, there was Scarlet. She was a black widow.
I can turn anyone's life into a tragedy.
Well, I hope that will come in handy for us. Nice to meet all of you. Together, let's take this guy down. On days 13 to 15, we arrived back at my hole base. I didn't know how Percy and his friends were going to take there being more spiders, so I proceeded with caution.
Hello, Zozo.
Hey, Percy. Wow, you got a lot of work done. This base is looking even better than I thought it could.
Thanks. I managed to convince some other birds and animals to come make this their new home.
You've done great. Hey, I wanted to tell you something.
Sure. What is... Oh, more spiders! What the... What are these animals doing here?
They look tasty to me.
Yeah, dude.
Before this tension was to become a battle, I had to calm down both sides. Listen, in order for us to defeat the Lizard King, we must stay strong together, no matter what species we are. Also, no eating the birds.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
After that was over, I managed to get everyone working together to create a giant statue of our hero. I hoped it could be seen as a symbol of justice and goodness for all walks of life. Can you tell what we're building? On days 16 to 19, I got a chance to meet all the new members of the base. Hey, how are you? Good to see ya. Welcome. I even ran into some unexpected guests. Oh no, the badgers again.
Wait, we're sorry for attacking you earlier. We just didn't have any other place to go. We saw how you built this place, and your friend Percy said it was okay for us to stay.
So wait, we're all on the same team?
Yep. We're also really sorry for attacking you earlier.
It's all right. I guess I can understand you being scared of someone trying to harm you. Welcome to the base. I have said that no matter our differences, we've got to work together to defeat the Lizard King.
Thank you.
Just as I was going around meeting new people, I saw Marcy run in looking for me.
I am delivering gifts for you for your journey. These are from Daddy Longlegs.
Marcy presented me with a new silver armor and sword with a special ability, poisonous attack. What would I do without you and Daddy Longlegs? This will be great for my journey. Thanks, Marcy.
You're welcome. Say, this place is pretty nice. Do you think I can tell the other spiders about it?
Sure. It's not quite finished though, but maybe when I'm done you guys can come see it. There's a lot of you, so I've got to make sure everyone is really impressed.
Deal.
On days 20 to 22, Taylor, Bruno, Scarlet, and I were off to catch the Lizard King. On the road, Scarlet spotted some signs up ahead.
We should be careful. It looks like we are entering into the realm of the ants.
Ants? Are they dangerous?
They attack in numbers and can overwhelm any creature bigger than they are.
Even someone like Taylor?
Yeah, dude.
Well, then we will definitely be cautious. I can't imagine anything worse than being dogpiled by a bunch of creepy crawlers.
We scoured around for a bit, when all of a sudden a giant zombie praying mantis arose from under the ground.
Gosh, he must have been attacked by the ants. Those guys are vicious.
Yeah, now we gotta put him out of his misery.
Bruno started making a web net to trap the praying mantis in, and Taylor threw it over to the mantis, trapping him.
I think we got him.
Just then, the mantis started tearing his way through the web net. Don't worry, guys, I got this. I jumped toward the praying mantis and started using my new sword. Say your prayers now, mantis. Within a few strikes, he was finally defeated, and I felt something inside me start to change. I increased in size and even had more hearts. My attacks felt stronger too, infused with even more fiery goodness. On days 23 to 26, we finally got to the anthill.
We need to be cautious. The ants could attack if we are spotted. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not interested in becoming a zombie fire spider today.
Just then, a fireball flew overhead. It was the ant guards, and they were shooting at us with trebuchets. Ah, talk about fire ants! All of a sudden, Bruno started working on what appeared to be a giant slingshot. Oh, great idea! Scarlet had some TNT, as well as some flint and steel. We decided that would work perfectly for returning fire.
Bombs away!
We took out the trebuchet and sent the ants running into their hill. Way to go, team! On days 27 to 31, we decided to go inside the hill. Wow, these guys have been busy. Inside, we found a lot of cool items that I could use for the compound and the statue. Glowstones, I can use these. As we journeyed deeper into the caves, we saw a hidden message on the wall. Subscribe? That's not a bad idea, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
A little further, and we began to see what appeared to be a story by the ants.
Apparently, the Queen Ant was tricked by the Lizard King, and now he has a puppet queen acting for him.
That's terrible. These ants should not be under the control of a puppet ruler. We need to do something. All of a sudden, something occurred. Ants began to crawl out from the walls. Get back! I mean it! No matter how hard we fought, the ants were too numerous, and they captured us. On days 32 to 35, the ants led us to the deeper parts of the anthill. Where are you taking us?
I kept trying to talk to them, but they would not respond. It was as if something was wrong with them completely.
Hello, can you hear me?
Eventually, we came to what I suppose is their throne room. The Queen Ant sat there looking sinister.
Spiders? How disgusting. You will make a fine specimen for the Lizard King. Though my children and I are getting hungry.
I'm getting pretty tired of creatures telling me they want to eat me. How about I give you something to eat instead?
I looked up and I could see what looked like a chandelier made of glowstones. I fired a web shot at it and the whole thing started to come crashing down.
No, not the chandelier.
I fell hard onto the Queen Ant, squishing her.
Whoa, what a way to go.
On days 36 to 39, we began leaving the hill. The hill was even bigger than I remembered, as we wove through many different hallways. We got lost more than once.
Man, how can one place look the same at every turn?
When we finally decided on a place to go, more ants came toward us. If we couldn't get out, we'd be in real trouble.
Stay back, we're armed.
Well, technically legged.
No, please don't hurt us, and we don't want to hurt you.
Okay, well then what is it you do want?
We are servants of the true Queen Ant. When you defeated the other queen, we finally freed her, and she wanted to thank you.
Well, that's very nice of her. I'm glad she's back on her throne.
Feel free to come back anytime. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I did have one question. How do we get out?
Oh, right. You go up, make a left, and climb out of the big hole in the top.
Okay, that seems simple enough. Thanks.
No problem. You can climb, right?
Spider.
Oh, right.
On days 40 to 43, we thought it would be best to get back to the compound and put these glowstones to good use. Percy was doing a great job building places for the new creatures finding out about this place.
If there is one thing we birds know, it is how to make a nest to come home to.
You're doing great, Percy. I also thought these could come in handy.
Glowstones, excellent. It was starting to look a little dark here.
Right away, we got to work using the glowstones to create light fixtures around the compound. I also made sure that these were built strong enough so that no one could get hurt if they were damaged.
The last thing we'd want is for there to be another Queen Ant situation. No one likes to get smushed.
When a spider builds something, it is made to last.
Also, when birds, badgers, and other wildlife chip in on the building, it definitely helps in the long run.
On days 44 to 50, I continued working on the statue. I'm really excited about this one and feel like it's coming along really well. Can you tell what the statue is yet?
All of a sudden, I could see a little jumping creature appearing in the horizon. Marcy, it's good to see you.
Oh, Zozo, I'm glad I found you. I have terrible news.
Oh no, what's the problem?
The Lizard King attacked the spider base with an army of scorpions.
Scorpions? Really?
Yes, they are one of our biggest enemies.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I really didn't think he'd be bold enough to take on the entire spider nest at one time. I'm sorry I couldn't have stopped him from doing this.
So am I. I wanted to tell you so you won't have to have the same fate. Now we have nowhere safe.
Wait a minute. Why don't you all come live at my base?
Wait, really? Are you sure you won't mind all of us living with you?
Of course not. Besides, us spiders need to stick together. Plus, I've got plenty of room here. There's no limit to the amount of houses we can make for everyone.
Ha! I see what you did there. I better go tell the other spiders right now.
Quickly, I got started gathering more materials and supplies to start building for my new neighbors. I took a good long while to gather the stuff and start building, but it was all worth it. On days 51 to 53, all of the spiders arrived. Whoa, there sure are a lot of you. Welcome. Among the spiders appeared Daddy Longlegs, and I went over to greet him. Hi, Daddy Longlegs. I'm glad to see you're all right. You're all welcome here.
Thank you, Zozo, for doing this. You have given the spiders and many others hope.
It was my pleasure. The spiders sure are honored and lucky to have a protector like you.
Oh no, Zozo. I may have been their protector before, but you are their protector now. However, if you need advice, I will always be around.
I will definitely appreciate that. I know you've seen a lot of spiders in your day. I'd never be able to lead anyone as well as you have. Afterwards, I introduced Daddy Longlegs and the other spiders to the rest of the compound. They got along pretty well. I loved seeing everyone so happy to make new friends. On days 54 to 57, the whole compound got together to start building walls so no intruders could come in. When most of the building was completed, we decided we should celebrate the new compound community. Daddy Longlegs prepared to give a speech.
I am truly thankful that we can all live in harmony, thanks to our magnificent friend, Zozo.
Oh, guys, I appreciate that. While Daddy Longlegs kept speaking, no one noticed a group of scorpions sneaking up behind him. Daddy Longlegs, look out! But he didn't hear me, and one of the scorpions stabbed him in the back with a stinger.
Oh no, Daddy Longlegs!
The spiders began attacking the scorpions while I tried to lead Daddy Longlegs to safety. Just stay here, you're gonna be fine.
No, Zozo, it's time for me to go.
What? You can't go, it's not over yet.
It's okay, Zozo. Take care of them all for me.
I will. I stayed with Daddy Longlegs until the end. When I checked back, the spiders won the battle. Sadly, it was up to me to share the sad news. On days 58 to 62, the whole compound worked together to build a memorial for Daddy Longlegs. Rest in peace, Daddy Longlegs. You will be missed by us all. I promise I will do what needs to be done. While we were sad at the loss of our friend, we all realized we needed better fortifications. We spent a good portion of the days building up the walls and putting up watchtowers. I was so embarrassed that we were attacked when we thought we were safe. They should protect us, but I just wish I could have done more.
Don't go blaming yourself, Zozo. Nobody could have guessed what was going to happen.
To take my mind off of all of this, I went back to finish the statue. Maybe this could give us some more hope. Now can you tell who our spider hero is? It's the most famous web slinger of all time, Spider-Man, of course. Just as I completed it, Scarlet showed up and told me a messenger came to see me. We ran to the gate to see it was the ant from the anthill. Hello, what are you doing here?
We heard about your attack. We are sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It has been hard for a lot of us.
Our queen wanted to give you something for your loss, as well as your fight against the Lizard King.
The ant handed over a wrapped gift and told me to use it wisely. I couldn't wait to see what it was. I will definitely treasure this. Thank you, and thank your queen for me.
I shall, and you are most welcome.
On days 63 to 66, I opened the package to reveal a bunch of potions. Inside there was a health upgrade potion. I took it right away, and I gained 8 more hearts. I took a look at the other potions. Stinger Shock can cause your enemy to be paralyzed and allow you to either heal or attack. Boy, if I ever run into that centipede again, I am gonna use this. I met with my friends and told them that this would be my final mission.
Be careful, Zozo.
I will. I promise to return. We have lost too many friends for me to fail.
Good luck, Zozo. Go end this monster, once and for all.
Yeah, dude. I said goodbye to my friends, and then I was off. All I could do was hope that I would see them again soon. On day 67 through 70, I journeyed off to find the Palace of the Lizard King. I first traveled toward the abandoned village where I first fought the centipede. I don't see him anywhere here. While I continued to look around, I spotted what appeared to be an ancient door. I wonder how long this has been here for. There was an inscription on the door that looked a little faded. I will with water when it rains. When sunlight comes, the water drains. To climb me is to achieve great gains. I quickly realized that it was a riddle and began putting it together. I got it! A water spout! The answer is a water spout! With this proclamation of the answer, the door cracked open to reveal a chest inside. I opened the box to show a full set of diamond armor and sword. I quickly put them to good use. Yeah, dude. I think I've been hanging out with Taylor a bit too much. On day 71 through 74, I traveled into the rainforest.
Just as I was scurrying along the ground, a group of howler monkeys started throwing bananas at me. Oh, whoa! At least it's just bananas. One of the monkeys was huge. He must have been their leader. I started throwing web shots at him, trying to knock him out of the tree. You are not defeating me today! I managed to knock several monkeys out of the trees, forcing them to run away. The big monkey was the only one left. You might be strong, but you won't get me. With one last web shot, I knocked the monkey out of the tree and cornered him. Where is the Lizard King? Where is his palace? The big monkey gestured over in a direction. Afterwards, I went off that way. You know, that monkey looked kind of familiar. Yeah, it was probably nothing. On day 75 to 78, I journeyed along until I came to a river. Uh-oh, it's my old nemesis, water. The river was way too wide to try and jump, and I didn't want to risk falling in, so I decided to build a bridge. I was halfway finished when out of nowhere, who was to turn up but the scorpions again. You guys, I'll make you pay for what you have done. I readied my sword and prepared to attack. This is for Daddy Longlegs. I charged at the scorpions and they leaped forward to attack me. They were strong, and I could tell they were trying to push me back into the water, but with my new armor, I could hold them off. I'll take you all on if I need to. Then I remembered I had the potion and quickly used it against the scorpions. Take this! The scorpions began to move slower, and I could see their attacks before they could make them. Block, stab, slice, gone! One by one, I took out each of the scorpions. I gathered a new item, Scorpion Tail, used to attack or intimidate enemies. Also can be used as a disguise. When all that was over, I continued making my bridge to get across the river. On day 79 to 85, I finally finished my bridge to cross the river. When I got to the other side, I found that the only way ahead was through a narrow ravine, but the entrance was guarded by 2 scorpions. Man, these guys are everywhere! While I could have attacked them, I remembered that I still had that scorpion tail in my belongings. I quickly put it on and approached them. La 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 la, just a disgusting scorpion out for a stroll. The guards didn't seem to mind and proceeded to let me through. Well, that was easy. While journeying, I wandered into an open field that looked pretty desert-like. Well, this is a weird place to put a desert. All of a sudden, I heard rumbling and could feel the ground shake. I knew right then what it was. Suddenly, the centipede bursted out of the ground, just like last time, and lunged toward me. It was time to take my revenge. Bring it on, leggy. That centipede was still fast and dangerous, but I was much more confident this time around. Oh, no you don't. I even used the scorpion tail to make a couple of hits, but it broke in the middle of the fight. So much for disguising myself again in the future. Take that, and that! Finally, I took out the potion again and used it for the finishing blows. I'm worthy enough this time. Prepare to be defeated. The potion worked, but the centipede was still quick. Furiously, I used everything I could to finally defeat it. Just then, I started feeling tingly. Ooh, I like this. I changed into a bigger and more powerful fire spider with even more hearts. All right now, Lizard King, prepare to meet your match. On days 86 to 90, I continued on my journey. I was feeling really confident until I realized I had just walked straight into quicksand. Oh, come on, who thinks of quicksand? Suddenly, I started thinking of ways to get out. All of a sudden, I could see Percy flying overhead. Percy, I'm glad you're here.
I can see that. How can I help?
Maybe you can pull me out, catch this chain, and start flying.
Good idea. Hit me.
I threw the line towards Percy and began flying, pulling me out of the quicksand. Oh, that was close. Thanks, Percy. What are you doing here?
I wanted to see how you were. You saved my life so many times before, and I guess I just wanted to repay you in some way.
Well, you definitely did that. If it wasn't for you, I would be in a really sticky situation. It can get risky at times, wandering around out here on my own.
You are definitely welcome, my friend. I will let the others know of your progress.
Just before he left, Percy warned me about something he saw while flying overhead.
Be careful. I saw what appeared to be a gang of bullfrogs coming in your direction. They must be heading to the palace of the Lizard King.
Bullfrogs, you say? Those things will gobble spiders up in one bite. I'll be sure to look out for them. Thanks again, Percy. Take care. On days 91 to 94, I finally ran into the bullfrogs. Wow, those guys are big. I didn't know bullfrogs could get that big. For the most part, they didn't seem to notice me. That's until one of them apparently spotted me and started shooting his tongue at me. Yuck! I don't need you tasting me. He was strong though. He even took out a couple of my hearts. If I didn't make a move, I was going to be one toasted bug. I can't just keep fighting this guy forever. I knew I had to outmaneuver him, so I jumped into a tree and waited for him to get bored. Luckily, he didn't seem to be the smartest of creatures, even though he was so tough. Serves you right. I didn't come this far to become a spider snack. On days 95 to 97, I followed the bullfrogs to the Lizard King's palace. They might have been strong, but they weren't very smart. They led me right to where I needed to go. Wow, this is gonna be a lot. As I got closer to the gate, I spotted a message written on the palace roof. Subscribe. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Be sure to subscribe and like this video for more content. I go on a lot of adventures and would love to have you follow me on them. I tried to get through the front gate when a horde of gecko soldiers started to attack. Out of my way. I got a king to fight.
I smacked the heck out of them until finally they were all defeated. This guy really loved his amphibians.
On day 98, I ran inside through the palace corridors to find the Lizard King. Wow, this place is pretty ornate for a lizard. Hey, that armor looks kind of familiar. Oh yeah, I almost forgot that I had an adventure as a knight. That was a journey. You guys should definitely go check it out when you are done with this one. Through different rooms, I would occasionally have to battle some of the gecko soldiers. Don't you guys have anything better to do? Despite looking all throughout the palace, I couldn't seem to find the Lizard King anywhere. I was getting disappointed and even losing a little bit of hope. I turned around and I could see what appeared to be the ghost of a long-legged spider. Daddy Longlegs, is that you?
Yes, Zozo, it is I. I told you that I would always be there to help you. Don't give up. You are so close to the end.
You're right, Daddy Longlegs. I must continue. I'm scared though. I'm just a fire spider and I don't know if I'll defeat the Lizard King.
You may be small, but you have the spirit of a giant spider inside of you. And it's time to let that spirit out. I'm going to grant you the power that made me so big.
Something started to happen. Magic energy filled the room and I felt myself changing once again. I transformed into a gigantic fire spider. I had so many hearts now. Thanks, Daddy Longlegs. On day 99, I finally landed in the throne room. The Lizard King sat on his throne with his big red eyes staring at me.
Well, well, if it isn't the itsy-bitsy fire spider who defeated my minions. Looks like you aren't so small now, but I bet you're still weak. Come to face me at last?
I will do what I must.
Then you will croak.
Just then, he flipped a lever, and the bullfrogs I had seen earlier came in. Oh no, not these guys again! Then I remembered I still had the potion, and was about to use it when one of the frogs grabbed it with its tongue. Guess I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Using my wall-crawling abilities and spider jumps, I dodged attacks from the frogs and gave them some damage. It looked like my attacks were superpowered with fire strength now. Soon, all the frogs were defeated, though I could swear I missed one. Now it's just you and me, Lizard King.
So be it.
He charged toward me with lightning-fast speed, giving me strong blows that did cause some damage.
You should not have fought against me, Spider. I am the Lizard King.
Oh yeah? And how do you taste?
What?
Just then, the last frog I thought I missed shot his tongue out, grabbed the Lizard King by the tail, and sucked him into his mouth.
No!
I became hesitant because I didn't know how the frog was going to respond. Hey, you're that frog I fought with earlier. I'm sorry for hurting you. Truce? The frog just looked at me, then suddenly spat up the Lizard King's crown. He croaked, then proceeded to hop away. Well, I guess that means truce. On day 100, I returned to the base to see everyone there, waiting for me. I told them all about what happened with the Lizard King. Wow, I didn't even know frogs could eat lizards. Neither did I. Guess you learn something new every day.
Zozo, I'm glad you've returned.
Yeah, dude. The Lizard King's defeated. Now we're free.
This would not have been possible without you, Zozo. Thank you, from all of us.
Now we can go back to living our lives in peace.
And now we have a new home for spiders of all walks of life. Then there came a commotion at the gate. What's going on over there? Suddenly, a loud croak could be heard.
Frog!
No, wait, I think I know him. Turns out it was the frog from earlier, come by to say hello. I'm glad you could come by. Just one rule, no eating anybody. The frog agreed and I proceeded to introduce him to everyone. This had been quite the adventure.